Snicked. 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 Okay, everybody. Reviews day. Ready to go. Hypercharged Sunday. Busy
Tuesday,
Sunday for everybody.
Tuesday, Tuesday, Mark.
Reviews day.
Wake.
You know what I mean. We're
Tuesday
recording.
reviews day. But yeah, we record on Sundays.
Yeah. But we have to figure it all out. All schedules, get people places. It's a tough one. But huge week. We're going to jump right into his Awestruck Comics podcast reviews day, where we're going to go through a lot of books, new format. So we should have lots of stuff to look at. So this is where it's going to be pretty cool. Hopefully, everybody's enjoy the new format. Like and subscribe. Post down below what you liked, what you didn't like. We will make uh, adjustments if they are good suggestions. That makes sense. Okay, so let me do the share screen. Let's check this out. Let's do it live. And now let me just so this is smaller. I'll fill this up. So this was the alternate cover. This was the this Action Comics this week. Action Comics 1079. Clayton Henry cover. But this is the John Bogdanove cover, which I don't know if it's relevant per se, or all of those, I guess, Phantom Zone people he's beating up. I can't really tell who everyone is. But it's nice to see that John Bogdanove is doing stuff. Is doing stuff in here. Should I pause? No. Okay. Okay. This is Phantoms is week 10, so 10 consecutive issues. Action Comics. I'm not sure if I know that logo is a little sleeker. I do like that logo.
It's neat. I like the rounded C into the corner of the A.
Yeah, no legacy. This is the regular numbering 1079, which is what we want Detective to do. I think they might be doing the legacy numbering. We'll do that next week.
Detective, I thought it does it, right?
Is it back? Yeah, I think you're right.
But Superman and Batman have not done it yet.
So this one does not have, okay, it says Wade, Shelfer, Herm. So it's mainly your new guy.
Yes. Very,
And
very weird style.
I can't figure this out. Yeah, so I have a couple pages in here, but I was a little disappointed because I don't think the ages, because there's so many supermen and women, not Superwoman's not in this, but
Right.
Supergirl's in this. But I can't tell the ages of anyone. I was really been really in love with, and maybe this is why I now think that the weekly jumps the shark, because I just want all Clayton Henry. And I can't expect Clayton Henry to do all of it. I don't know what the contract was, but he's just
Yeah,
done
you'll be.
the most pages he's ever done, maybe ever consecutively.
I'm surprised they didn't go into this. Listen, Mark Waid was one of the people behind the Weekly 52 comic, and that was super well planned out. You also had genius Keith Giffen laying out every issue. Um,
Yeah,
so
Steve
when
Wacker.
you're
Yeah,
about when you
an editor holding that
yeah,
together apparently. Mhm.
yeah. So like I'm surprised they didn't go into this. Like, not that this guy doesn't deserve a chance. I like some of his stuff, but I don't like all of his stuff. Um, which is awfully negative me. Yeah, I like this page a lot. I love you know what? I love his Supergirl. So maybe he's just better at doing the teens. His
Mhm.
Superboy looks good there. His
Yeah, this is
Superman doesn't look bad. Like this is a
yeah,
better page
yeah,
than the
yeah,
last page. The last page looked the anatomy looked a little wonky, and you and I aren't terrific artists, so this guy is 100 times better than us. So you know what? Congratulations, dude. And
yeah. I
I
mean,
think but
he's new
I think
too,
this guy's
so
going to get better.
yeah.
Yeah, this
No,
guy's
to
going to
be
get better.
new,
We don't
and
know if
in
he's
this,
rushed.
right?
We don't know if he was supposed to do the whole issue or not. So some pages might be like him doing it at the pace he needs to do, but other
Mhm.
pages might be get this done, dude. It's weekly,
Yeah. So yeah, to
and
jump back to this,
December is a horrible month to print in to begin with. You have to really plan out December because a lot of printing places shut down. They have holidays, Thanksgiving, and then the Christmas, and whatever Hanukkah's and the other Hanukkah's late this year. But you know what I mean? They shut down, and there's
yeah,
extra printing going on to begin with. So it's really hard to get something published weekly throughout December.
right. Yeah, I mean, overall, like I guess when I'm looking at this page, like the Superman looking that way is fine. Monel looking that way. I do like the little eyes. The dots are almost like Charlie Brown eyes, right? In that second panel.
Mm.
The hair for Supergirl isn't as detailed as the one we referenced last week. So yeah, it might be a deadline situation, you
But
know.
it's still really good looking hair though. Like he's really does
Yeah,
something special with Supergirl. Very
yeah.
impulsy.
Well, that's yeah. I think this is a Craig Rizzo, Ramos situation. This feels like, and well, I think there's a Gleb Melnikov later on in the review, and want to talk about that because I feel like he has a lot of elements inside of it. Todd Nauck a little bit. There's a couple things going on here. But overall, I mean, it just to me it felt a little the momentum dropped off because I don't feel like the Superman is as large as the uh, Clayton Henry Superman. So
Right.
big, just larger than everyone else. So the backup, Skylar Barcher's back is Alpha Megan Hetridge. So this is the main artist. So this to me, oh boy, like I love this. I think this is so good, and I don't know exactly who's doing the coloring on this either. But look at this. I just clipped that because that is a great. Um, I would imagine this is digital, but like look at the. I would want to say that like even the stuff here, it's almost like a charcoal. It's probably drawn in Procreate. She's not coloring herself from what I remember, but just really good. But even the coloring on this, look at the prisoner coming out. Like look at the adversary basically coming out. How there's a defined delineation of having the colors. It's just popping that front. Like it's a 3D
Right.
effect without a 3D effect. I do like this costume quite a bit. And it's funny because I think right in the Adventure Comics, when there was Supergirl for a while, it actually literally became like Katie Keene and some of the fashion magazines, like so what was the modeling with Millie, where people, boys, girls would send in
Oh yeah.
costumes. At that
And that
time, they had an issue literally. I think it was a Mike Sikowski, where it's just credited to where she just changes costumes for like 5 pages.
yeah, they use
And
those fan designs in some of those books and they're great. That
yeah,
Supergirl at that time was very interesting. It was cool to see so many different designs and concepts because guess what? Women change their clothes a lot every day, every
yeah.
day. So why wouldn't she have a
I
different
wouldn't
costume all the
Kara
time?
Zor-El. But yeah, this page was really good. Great action in this. This is what I thought too. All the different textures of like the water and he's not. I imagine Skylar. I'm not sure if that's a man or woman, but like I feel that even here we got some blotches. We'll talk blotches later when we get into Transformers. Holy blotches like crazy. So I don't know if this is a subtraction type of thing because I know when I
Blotch.
when I draw in paper 53 or Procreate, I know the erase function is kind of fun. You blot it out and go backwards. I know a lot of sketches on convention sketches might be on a black piece of paper and they're drawn in white. So it's this is kind of neat having that. Or look at the hair at the bottom middle panel, the hair in the water.
Mhm.
Like, geez, like I think this is going to read really fantastic. I don't think I put the last page in here. I don't believe I did because
You
that was
know,
more of a spoiler. I didn't want to do
when
that,
they
but
collect these 12 issues, I really hope they collect all the Superman stories and then you get all the Supergirl stories.
I think
Or make a
the
special out of it.
Supergirl. I want to say Mariko Tamaki. Well, Mariko Tamaki
Maybe it should
had.
be maybe it should be two trades, right? You think?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think this should be a Supergirl trade, and I think it should be packaged with the previous. So it should be like a Supergirl by Mariko Tamaki. Here, there's no Supergirl book right now. There's a Power Girl book, but no Supergirl book.
I
Right?
believe you're correct. Yes.
Okay. But yeah,
But
this is
Supergirl is in
incredible.
she is in a lot of issues of Power Girl.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say
But you know what?
get the Mariko Tamaki and have like Supergirl by Mariko Tamaki. Throw volume one on there. Whatever. You don't have to do volume two. Maybe there wouldn't be, but maybe there will be, because the miniseries she did with Joelle Jones probably 10 years ago is excellent. That's one of the only Supergirl stories I
Yes.
like. That's
Yes.
excellent, and that art's not that different than this. And I believe it's. I imagine maybe it's the same continuity. I don't know if it matters. I don't think it
In
matters.
my dream world of like being editor of DC, I've always felt like if you're going to have two Superman books, you have Superman, which is pure Superman,
Mhm.
and that action should always be a double-sized book where it's like Superman story, but that's where you get your Supergirl story, your Superboy story, your Valor, your you know what I mean, like your World of
Sure.
Krypton. Like I always felt like it would have been a cooler anthology series And the same goes for Batman. Batman's a Batman, Detective is Batman, and then you can put your Robin, Nightwing, Huntress.
Yeah, they've done a bit of that. I think when Detective Comics was at Tinian, they had it. That was a team book. It's Batman team book.
Yes.
That was where you had Clayface and everything like that. So good work.
But I guess it's
Um,
more money to have 20 Batman titles and you know, I guess.
I don't know.
Guess
The
it works.
Batman they need to cancel Batman Brave and the Bold because I feel like every story like it's like a tryout book and it's like $8. So it's like and there may or maybe one story that I like out of a lot of them. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Not a huge fan. Um, Batman Dark Patterns, which we'll get into next, they were
All right.
really pushing that. I was surprised that so I put in the New Gods preview here, which again, I think this is a Pete Woods cover, if I'm not mistaken. This is a Pete Woods cover. I think this is the variant cover. This is not the main cover. Um, that is the Pete Woods cover. And then this is Evan Cagle, which you have no experience with Evan Cagle. That's the Dawn Runner guy I've been talking to you about for a year.
No,
Uh,
I've glanced Dawn Runner, but I
this is
haven't sat down and
crazy.
read it.
I think this is the exact same team as Dawn Runner too. I feel like the lettering is just like Dawn Runner. I feel like this 1,000,000% is the exact same team. Pretty sure. I'm 100% almost sure. But these pages are crazy. This design for Orion is very huge and threatening. And look at that. I just kind of zoomed in on the intensity of Orion here. So I can't wait. I believe this is 12 issues. I can't wait for this. And then I just cropped out what is going on here, man. Now
That looks cool.
this this feels like Farrell Dalrymple. This feels like
Yeah.
Frank Quietly. There's a lot of stuff going on here. The fading, but like drawing that inside of that.
It doesn't look like Fife, but it has an aesthetic of Fife because
Yeah,
he is very good with putting in the title or the character's name.
we should
That's
make a
very
Fife bell for you. And
dude.
every time we do it, we'll ring the bell or we'll have a
It's
little
the
counter.
notice when you love creators as much as we love certain creators,
Yeah,
you see their stuff everywhere. I'll see Liefeld stuff, McFarlane stuff,
right.
Alan Moore, like the people you love, our top 10 people, you're always going to see them in other people. And guess what? This artist, he could be seeing it. Might be intentional, might not be. He might be trying to go for an Eisner spirit thing. It's
Right.
it's not, but he could be trying for that.
I love it. I can't wait for this book. I can't wait for
No,
this book.
it's
So
cool. It's
fingers
cool.
crossed. But the reason, so they pushed Batman Dark Patterns, we'll talk about next, but so I guess they're pretty good. This is going to be a preview in a lot of books. It's a harder sell, but it looks really great. So here we go. Batman Dark Patterns is what I was excited for. This was the cover I've mentioned a few different times. Bunch of stuff going on. I don't know how many screenshots of this book, man. At least like 10 or 12. I have a lot of screenshots
All
of this
right,
thing.
let's
But
break through. First off,
I
it's a good
love
cover.
this.
It is an iconic cover. It reminds me of a cover.
Yeah, I have
What
to
was the
think
Batman?
about it.
What was that Batman cover from like '89? It was a special or something. I think it was painted. I haven't seen that
Mm,
cover in a long time, but I think it was something
I have to
similar.
think about it. Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
But this I believe is 12. But here I see a bunch of stuff. So even this page one, I see Leandro Fernandez, who did Old Guard. I see a lot of that.
Yes.
Um, I see Francesco Francovilla. I see Eduardo Rizzo. I love the coloring on it. I think I'm a big fan of Gotham. If you show a Gotham car, it should be this. Just as when I think when we go to Metropolis in the Superman movie, I want to see old cars. I
Yeah.
think they're doing something else. I want to say they're doing like super like retro futuristic cars. Maybe that's FF. I'm not sure. Um, but and this same thing here. Like this is a bit more Tim Sale. His
Mhm.
layout again. He's doing. We saw this in Absolute Wonder Woman. I just want to know. And this guy Sleep. I don't really understand because he's doing Absolute Wonder Woman too, and he has no intention of missing that. This is going to be just him. And we think do you think that this is the new Batman team after Tim Sale or after, I'm sorry, Jeff Loeb,
Well,
Jim
I
Lee?
did,
You would
but
like it.
I don't think this guy's going to leave Absolute Wonder Woman just yet. I don't know. It's tough. I
Maybe
think
he's a
this
Dan
writer
Moore. Maybe he can do both.
maybe
Maybe he's that fast. This like come on. This is like nah.
you said this is 12 issues.
I believe it's 10 or 12. Yeah, I think it's
I don't
12.
know. An Absolute Wonder Woman's ongoing, so it's like
I wonder where Dan Waters lives. There's Cherry Hill here. I don't know. I guess I don't know if Cherry Hill is just New Jersey, but I don't think Cherry Hill was ever referenced in Gotham
no,
before.
I've never seen Cherry Hill.
Usually it's like Robinson Park or it's Jerry Robinson or I feel like there's a lot more of that. Um, yeah, this actually looks like the Skylar Partridge, like the way that the foliage is. That looks like what we just saw in that. That's a Franco Villas guy here. I like the lighting of this. I like that. The Who is this? Who is this letter? Frank Chet? What? Shvetkovic? I've never seen that name before.
No,
Oh
new find,
boy.
new find.
Yeah, right. But that's so, I mean, I imagine, I don't know who did I wish they had that. I wish they had like logo by, maybe, I don't know. I've never seen this letter before. Maybe I can look it up. Like, hey, did you do the logo? I mean, he would have done the titles going up here. That's not drawn in. We see sometimes stuff drawn in from Daniel Warren Johnson. I think Ori Corona wrote some stuff in recently where he's doing sound effects. Somebody does his own sound effects sometimes in the art itself. This isn't, but I like that it's going down like that. Very, very fun. Wonderful that symbol. Who's coloring this? Triona Farrell. Okay. Who I believe Triona Farrell worked with Dan Mora, so similar. But a nice flat coloring on this on Batman for the most part. But look at the side of the cape
Yeah,
is a bit more watercolory there. The atmosphere of this is a new coroner. Is that right? This is like a
yeah.
new, and this is the problem with a lot of Batman books. This is where when I watch a movie or something, or I watch something with my daughter Sophia, I'm like, this is going to happen. That guy's the murderer because they just show up. He's always been her. So I feel like, okay, this is the killer, but Batman doesn't think. I'm like, who's this guy? Who's this guy? Because I feel like anytime they do a new story, they're like, here's a new character. Oh, and then there's a new villain in town. I'm like, yeah, it's the same guy. It's Tommy. What
Yeah,
was it?
it's just
Hush?
Elliot.
Yeah, it's Tommy. Oh, Tommy Elliott's Hush. There you go. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You can do it. Red herring, red herring, red herring.
yeah.
But
It's on any in particular Law and Order episode. If you recognize the actor playing a new character, you're like, oh, I've seen him in a movie before. He's probably the killer.
right, he's taken a. I want to say that Pedro Pascal. We should look that up. Pedro Pascal has like five. He's been on different Law and Orders as different character like 4 or 5 times because
That's
he was in a
hilarious.
bunch of those. Yeah. Yeah, this is a very Jerry J. H. Williams the third. Interesting perspective. Oh man,
Yes.
I'm trying to think what that top Gordon looks like. Oh, I can't really tell. I don't know. But yeah, this is kind of neat because this guy's it's magnificent work. Ugh.
Little quite, kind of a little bit quietly-ish, a little bit
This is totally
Gordon.
different. This is very different than the Absolute Wonder Woman. It's so different. It's a different colors. I don't know. No, because it's Jordi Belair on Absolute Wonder Woman. This is Triona Farrell. So, but I like the mustard orange and or mustard yellow rather in there. So yeah, the outline here. Look at him leaving, obviously, and just kind of slides out,
Yeah.
you know. Not that much big. He's not drawing him Frank Miller big. He's drawing him. This is probably a year two-ish or something.
Uh-huh.
Uh, yeah, whew, look at that. Look at that. Look at that Batman going up. Oh, and that's what I did put a zoom in on that. Okay, so this is Sean Phillips. Look at that. That you could say Sean Phillips drew that Batman on the right. I'm like,
Yeah.
holy mackerel. So I did a zoom in on that. Oh man. Um, but yeah, just panel, panel, panel. I like frustrated Gordon. I don't know if I've ever seen that. Someone go like this. Like maybe I'm sure it's not the first
Yeah.
time, but I can imagine he's like that all the time. And
All the
Gordon's
time.
like, oh, smoking a pipe. Yeah. But okay, this is like an Eduardo Rizzo. Look at the first side panel. He's got power lines. Nobody's throwing power lines. What is
No,
this?
you
Transformer
know,
box
yeah.
on the second and the fourth panel too. The lighting is excellent. Giving a lot of room. Yeah, and the ground. It's a dirty ground.
I'm sure this stuff looks good in black and white.
Yeah, and then let me so this and I'll spotlight this. Look at the bottom side panel of Gordon just standing there. That's what I was thinking of. That's Gabriel Ba or June. It's
Right.
what's the guys from Casanova, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Baby and Moon, Gabriel Ba. That's what I felt like. So yeah, this is just an amazing amalgamation of styles, and this was And a great read on top of that. So not taking anything away from Dan Waters, but this was just a feast. I would, have to read this. Great action. I think this page has already been seen. And then that bottom, very, very, very bottom right, that's a Magnola. That feels like a Magnola drawing. Um, the Batman figure does. Everything else feels a little bit different, but just fantastic. I love Batman. We know this.
Yeah.
And also, okay, top right, second panel. That's what I've been talking about. That's the Chris Bacalo. That
Fellow.
reminds me of the Shade the Changing Man stuff where he would photocopy stuff and slide it. And then Danny Warren, oh, actually, James Harren did it in BPRD. And then Danny Warren Johnson uses it all the time. And now Jorge Corona uses it all the time. So having the motion of that and that little scribble here, it's a bit more scribble. You can actually see the scribble,
Yeah.
but I don't know how the other guys do it. I feel like I don't know if they have some type of Photoshop manipulation. But yeah, we got five guns in, five guns, one, two, three, four, five, full. All right. Again, just unreal, just an unbelievable book. And then this was the main thing here. But when I first looked at this, I didn't even see Batman because again, same thing. Great bat symbol in the sky. Yeah, dirigible up there. Two
Mhm.
der one, two. I wonder who first did that stuff. Who was
What
the first
putting?
blimps? Who did blimps first? I don't know. But
I mean, it's right in the opening of the first Batman cartoon, or the Batman animated from 91,
right,
90,
right.
91.
Yeah, so maybe that's the first and it's gonna split in. But I love this and that's where I put this. Like, look at that little Batman. Look at over there. Look how adorable. How adorable.
That was adorable.
The signal has been lit since sundown. Tough times. And then look at that. And so the top looks very familiar. That might be like a Marshall Rogers or some shit. I'm not sure. The first panel. The second panel looks like Eduardo Rizzo, 1,000,000%. And also, this is the scale. This is frightening. This character looks. And okay, I don't like this. Skews me out. And I know the podcast
It
iFanboy would
should
always make a joke
it
about
should
this.
skeeve you out.
I hate rebar. Rebar is the scariest thing I've ever seen. I hate a building that fell down and there's just like these like
Pieces of steel jutting out of the
I
concrete
hate it. I
randomly.
hate it. That's my nightmare. If you threw me on an abandoned lot and I fall into rebar, just please kill me. If you see me, if anyone
Oh,
sees me on the side of the road and I have rebar coming through me, just shoot me in the face.
I always think about where they're trying to kill Kid Miracle Man in Miracle Man 15,
Oh,
and they just pop a piece of rebar and concrete into his head, like they just transport it.
I hate it. I hate this. So I hate this character, but I love how frightening this is. And again, look at he's doing the scribble motion hand on panel two. Again,
Yeah,
page layouts completely insane. This eight. All right, there's the scribbles again. Just great action. Oh my God, what a feast! Holy mackerel!
I love it, and I
So
love they're like he's got all these nails hammered into him, and Batman can't hit him because if he hits any of the nails, it could kill him. Like everything is strategically placed to not kill this guy, but put him in the most amount of pain possible.
I can't
But
tell
like,
what's going on with is that looks like muds on him or is that like his skin?
I think those are all nail heads.
Yeah, but like what's
Oh,
like
the
where his
rest is the
hands
skin.
are? Yeah, like what's? Oh, I guess that's fabric. That's probably fabric. Like he almost has like gauntlets. He almost has like you know, he has bandages everywhere else. So I don't know. Yeah, again, just and then the powerful
It's pretty
reds.
brutal. Yeah,
But he doesn't like Batman. Triana Farrow decides to not like Batman any different. Have him in this very specific. Again, amazing. Just really, really. This is Awestruck, baby. This is what we're talking about. This is the stuff. If anyone can't tell how much I love this is exactly what the show's about. This is a million
yeah.
percent what the show's about.
It's a brand new idea,
Oh,
and when you give us a new idea, we just fall in love with it. I've
yeah.
never
There's so
seen
much
this.
going on. And again, so yeah, we need to do a spotlight episode on Hayden Sherman so I can go back and read some of stuff. The only thing I remember his name from being around was that there was a Scott Snyder book he did, The Wildfires. It was his book. I think it was IDW or I don't remember, but yeah, I want to kind of this guy's still new enough that I could go read everything he did. I don't think he's done
Yeah,
more than 20 comics, so no problem. just crazy good. So next up is Superwoman special. This had a lot of artwork in it. There's the alternate cover with Lobo. I believe that's the Mark Spears cover. Mark Spears is getting a lot of work. There's a book that he's doing for, I think it's called Keen Spot. That is supposed to be really good. It's Mark Spears Monsters. That is supposed to be really good.
Oh yeah.
I know Pop Culture Philosophers always talks about him because I think he's local to him. Rock and Robbie knows him. But yeah, that's a really good, cool perspective. She looks very sassy. Um, I would maybe try and we need to do like a Wonder Woman or I'm sorry, a Lois Lane deep dive. When does Lois Lane get purple? What is the purple? And if you
The
know,
purple eyes. I don't know who started that.
I
It's all
don't
of a sudden it
know.
was like she's got purple eyes. I'm like, she
Hmm.
does. Since when?
I don't think they're doing purple eyes in the movie, but she does have purple on in the movie. There's a scene where Superman's standing there, and then she's there and she's in a purple. So that's they're
I
definitely
mean, she's
utilizing that.
definitely had a lot of purple clothes. Specifically, I think Man of Steel really started putting her in purple. But I can definitely picture a lot of '60s cover. And maybe it was just a like, let's use purple on a girl. We have purple ink. Nobody uses purple ink. Let's use it for something. So it could have just been something as crazy as the Hulk. Oh, great, ink doesn't work. Oh, what do we make them? Green, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, right.
Before we spiral back, though, you ever notice the amount of green in early Marvel? Almost every Spider-Man build was green. Hulk was green. You know,
Oh yeah.
Nick Fury was in green military costumes. Just a lot of green. Just something funny. I don't know if green ink's cheaper.
Yeah, this I can't tell. I'm not so up on Superman lore that I mean, I'm pretty familiar with the Supergirl stuff here, but yeah, so this is Edwin Galman and this is Lana Lang. This to me reeks of CW, right? CW shows Flash season 3 and 4, everyone's got powers. Everybody except for Joe, right? I think Joe's the only one that never got powers in that, right? You
Poor,
can say.
poor, poor Joe. You know why? Because he already had the power to sing so incredibly.
That's correct. But we knew from the get-go, I was like, well, there's Vibe, there's Killer Frost. Like we knew right off
Yes.
because of their names. So we're like, all right, we know that's definitely eventually happening. Fine. And they did a great job with Killer Frost a bunch of times, a bunch of times. Uh, so yeah, so really good. So this I don't know. I guess they're just like a little mini team.
I
And
think
there's
they just happen to be three girls, semi-related, happen to
yeah,
get together. So they make up a team. So this Superwoman, Lana, has had powers since when Phil Jimenez was drawing and writing that book in New 52.
wow.
I think Lana and Lois both got Supergirl powers, Superwoman powers, just like this.
Hmm.
But I think that Lana or that Lois may have either died or lost her powers when New 52 Superman died and his powers went somewhere else. It's kind of confusing because you got to remember that Lois wasn't with New 52 Superman. New 52
Right.
Superman was with Wonder Woman at that point. So that's what this is a leftover of.
I'm just staring at all the S's here, not just because there's boobs there, maybe partially, but like the S's are all very specific. Well, first off, I like the Supergirl's has like three S's as the shoulders, and then
Yeah.
the middle. That her S is a little bit different. It's longer, so it's a longer, wider S in there. That's electric Superman S. So
Yes.
okay, and I also like even look at that first top left panel. That's a curvy Lois, baby. Look at that. Look at those hips. Hips don't
That's
lie.
right. They
You
don't.
know, they do not lie. I'm not sure
Them's
what that
good
means.
birth and hips.
There we go. We got one here. And this is kind of fun because this person doesn't, I don't feel, I think this is the same person. This is the kind of the hard part. I don't love when they have three artists and they're somewhat similar. I don't know if this is Laura Braga or not. I'm not sure if this is still Edwin Gallman. I don't know. And I don't know who this other person is. Uh, Nicola Jimenez. I can't say that. But I do think this is pretty fun with that floating. This may not be Edwin Gallman. Um, but I feel like this jumps back. Yeah, that might be that. This is a throwback. This pose has been in a bunch of different things over the skyline. The first one, the biggest one being, I think it's an early Action Comics. It's a Jose Luis Garcia Lopez
Okay.
drawing. But I also think it's interesting. I'm like, so she's got a cool T-shirt on. Isn't that just Clark Kent flying in his outfit there? He's just flying
Yeah.
in
Just flying in his clothes.
he doesn't have drone technology to like, scramble all the stuff,
It's true.
like New Jersey,
He he
New Jersey
vibrates his head.
drones.
He
He
vibrates his
vibrates his
head.
head slightly, so you can never get a good picture of
Yes.
it's so weird. Wouldn't someone put that together? They just have like a wall or like who's Superman, but and they're like, well, it's probably that guy who's just like a blur that has a Clark Kent name badge on, an ID press badge.
You know,
Whoops. Is he shaking
before
the badge that has Clark Kent written on it? Does he
you
forget
know,
that?
Superman used to not be able to float.
Hmm.
Like that wasn't always a thing. And I remember reading this one comic, I think from the 70s, where like he couldn't touch the ground or else these explosive bubbles would pop up. So when he'd go into work as Clark Kent, he'd have to breathe so hard through his nose it kept his feet above the
What
ground.
the heck is he talking about? Oh my God.
Yeah, he didn't because now Superman just floats. He can do anything, But back
Right.
then he couldn't float. He could only fly and just fly. He couldn't like float in the air.
Yeah,
That
I
that
mean,
that's a more recent thing. That's probably a thing creation of the 80s.
yeah, we should do a whole thing on Superman's powers to a certain level because I know thinking about I want to say the Corridor Crew guys that they did like I know they did like Home Alone for real, where they just did if this actually hit this guy, his head, the top of his head would fly off in blood. Like they did these really violent versions. But I feel like if you did Superman, you did a violent version of Superman. When Superman goes to catch Lois in the first one, he would just split her in two. It's a very Mark
Yes.
Millar, The Boys type of thing. The Boys does
Yeah.
it a lot. You know,
Yeah.
the first scene with Huey is horrible. It's
You would
horrible. Blah.
yeah, you would have to
Um,
grab her, matching her speed, falling, and then slowly alter your speed.
and everyone should just be throwing up. I didn't. That's the thing with the Superman and Lois show. I thought it was really funny. The last so many episodes, Lois just keep getting pulled around. They didn't have the money, so they were just like, "Zoop! I'm over across the street now."
Yeah.
But I think she should be throwing up all the time. I guess that's not really good TV. Um, but yeah, this is a great. That's really wonderful. And if they are doing a Photoshop skyline, they're drawing over it, or they're
I
maybe the
don't
back stuff is
I,
pictures.
I'm not against drawing a city. As long as you're drawing it, as long as it looks drawn.
Straw over top of it. Straw
Draw
over
over
top
top
of
of it.
it. Yeah. So this could be so this is the epilogue basically because it's unclear. This is a very is that Alien One? What type of ship is that? I'm trying to think what science fiction movie has like the ship with all the junk up front. Is that Alien? First
I don't
Alien?
it maybe.
Yeah, I can't really tell, but essentially, I guess I'm confused by this sequence a little bit, right? Because this is on the Watchtower and they're looking at stuff. So that's Ryan Choi and Ray Palmer.
Yeah.
And basically, they're explaining Superman's powers because they don't really get into how she gets the powers per se. Oh, that's right. It was Waller's
They
super amazers were destroyed, and then the powers fell in the lowest somehow.
yeah, they're trying to make you think that it's somehow Amazo's powers going into her. But that what they
Hmm.
go on to explain is that like it's just other people are getting powers and other people are changing powers. And what it's basically telling you is she got Zod's powers.
Right. Now, we don't know because did you read the Neil Before Zod Joe Casey
Yes.
series?
Yeah,
I didn't read that. I should.
it's good.
But does that
Joe
lead
Casey.
to this? Like, is that part of this?
I
Because I
mean,
feel like when he was on an interview that was setting up, they asked him, he's like, they need you to do this story if that's setting up this. You know,
I
I don't know
guess
if
it
that was
does.
alongside Williamson because this is Williamson too. I put this in only because we're not typically reading a Superwoman special, but we're doing it because essentially that's coming right off of the Williamson start, which you liked a lot. You really liked that. I liked it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited for
No,
it.
I always love extra Kryptonians. We didn't even talk about in action how like all the Kryptonians now have powers. The ones that escaped the Phantom Zone, and now they captured most of them, but like now they're off in space, and one's on what Thanagar, and one's on
Right, right, right.
I don't know. I
You
love
could
a
do
lot of
series,
Kryptonian
yeah,
villains.
yeah. I mean, that's what I feel like. There was a story, a Starman story, where this one villain captured everyone in like billboards and tapestries and stuff, and the tapestry came out. And I know Ron Hoffman, Ron Hoffman talked. He's like, okay, well, we should be meeting those characters for the balance of that Starman series, and it didn't really happen. But like, there should be someone from the
Right.
1920s. There should be like, I feel like that for them to integrate an Opal City, make an Opal City more interesting because you had hundreds of people come out of this thing dead.
Yeah.
You
No,
know,
that's super interesting.
missed opportunity. Um,
Listen, you could do a whole series just about that, but then you're not doing Starman anymore.
Right. And I know that he had to go to space, so that's fine. Um, looking at this
Yeah.
cover, do I looking at the sides
What up
or
with that?
looking at
This is what I say with this comic. What up with that? Because here we are thinking we're just getting the next issue of Amazing Spider-Man, maybe drawn by McGinnis. He's
it's the
drawn a
third
couple in a
issue,
row, so
right?
yeah. But
Um,
it was not and not only was it not drawn by McGinnis, but it's not written by Joe Kelly. Who is Justina Ireland,
I have no idea who this is.
and why is she almost as good as Joe Kelly?
That's the other part. If you didn't tell me this wasn't Joe Kelly, I would not have known this. Okay.
Correct.
But when I'm looking at the cover, I'm looking at the names on the corner. I'm like, oh, is this McGinnis? That's the first thing I kind of go to. Is McGinnis because I know McGinnis may or
You
may
know,
not draw it.
right. I honestly thought it was a misprint. I'm like,
Right.
Ireland. Oh, they must have meant somebody messed up. Like
Oh,
seeing a different artist
yeah.
wouldn't be a surprise. And we definitely have comics with wrong names on the covers.
Correct. Yeah. The one I think of all the time is there's a Batman with Batman fighting like a shark guy. And it was before Brubaker started because Larry Hama did like 2 issues. And
Right.
then the next issue it still says, I think it still says Hama, but it's Brubaker. It's first Brubaker. So the first Brubaker Batman is probably like, the fuck? Like I'm writing Batman. I'm not my first Batman comic of all time. It's wrong on the cover. It's Larry Hama on the
It
cover.
sucks when it's your first comic, when it's your first big deal like
Yeah.
Batman.
It's your first Batman comic. So I
Like
don't know who
you
this
want to hang
person
that
is.
comic, you want to hang that comic on the wall of your house.
Yeah. Yeah. Like my house. I have Batman comics on my walls.
Yeah, but do
Uh
you have Fratman comics on your walls?
I do not. No.
Fratman. Who's Fratman, Mark?
That was I don't think I knew what frat meant, but that was my like parody of Batman, and he was fighting the poker, which is not and he grabbed Batman's batarang and then threw it into Robin's nuts. I think I still have parts of it, but it was in my dad's basement and it got like eaten by like rats. So there's actually like a bunch of it eaten.
Eaten by rats.
So, but
Oh
I
my
think
god.
I think the second
That's
page with
that's Fratman's
Robin.
true villain,
Yeah,
Ratman.
Ratman. But like, yeah, the Robin with the batarang and the balls to Robin with
How
him
old?
going
12?
like probably younger, might have been 11. Yeah, I mean when you're 11, 12, everything's balls. You hit your balls and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. So that's no wonder. Yeah. So I don't know who Justine Ireland is. Gleb Melnikov we've seen on. This is a slightly different Gleb Melnikov. Gleb Melnikov, my favorite Gleb Melnikov was the Robin relaunch that Williamson did, the Damian Robin series. And then after that,
That's
Roger
good.
Cruz came on.
Which
But
is really good, Roger Cruz.
great. Yeah.
What's
So,
it's interesting about this page because this guy has a good style,
mhm,
but it so feels like a Ramita senior, a Ramita junior. Like the middle page, the middle
mhm,
panel with Green Goblin over Spider-Man looks so JR.
right.
It's something aesthetically weird about it. The
Well, it's
guy's art
funny.
style is nothing like JR.
Right,
But
right, right.
that middle section just looks like it. It's weird.
Yeah, I'm
It's
trying.
cool.
He did some Superman. He did some Williamson Supermans, and the Superman was real blotchy, kind of like the Action Comics guy who did it earlier in the show. But I think this Spider-Man, the top half of it, especially the head, I think is Ringo. I feel like that's some like Waringo, but the legs are like Bagley, right? So it's so weird.
Yes.
It's the craziest thing.
It's
But that character down the bottom
it's
is
like a Rorschach
McGinnis.
test. Whatever
Yeah,
you see, whatever you think you want to see, you can say. It's like
nothing's
looking at
wrong.
clouds.
Yeah,
It's like looking at a cloud. See that cloud looks like a bear. Does it look like a bear really? No, but to you it does.
right.
Like look
Like
at look at Captain Stacy. That looks a little Ramita.
sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's one little bit off of it. Like that's what's kind of cool about like with Peter screaming the second panel. But the ink lines yeah, there that's oh, you know what? That almost looks like a Danny Meek. What did Danny Meeky ink Romita on? Superman? The the All-Star
Yeah,
Superman?
had to. Uh, or his action. Did he ink him on action when Bendis was writing it?
He might ink them on action, but yeah. I know Danny Meeky did the Frank Miller one. Whatever
Did
that
he ink
Frank.
the? Yeah,
Oh,
that's
it
what
was
I was thinking about
Superman
that one too.
Year One, the Black Label Superman Year One that no one
Yeah,
likes. Is that me?
I like it.
I like it. I like it when he went in the, like underwater and stuff.
Yes, that was the
Uh,
best.
yeah. But this is, and then yeah. So and also,
So McGinnis, Ramos here.
I, it's fine. I feel like this is kind of missing. I feel like we went bad girls in the '90s, and then everything is like let's costume them up and have them not sexy for a long time.
I
So now,
I disagree with that. We need sexy. Bring sexy back.
yeah, let's bring sexy back. This guy's bringing sexy back. This is yeah, that drawing there is that's a Joe Mad Ramos. Yeah, really good. Side boob Sunday, everybody.
It's
Side boob
that's my
Tuesday.
favorite. No, side boob Sunday works
Side
because
boob
it
Sunday.
it alliterates. Um,
Yeah, but the bottom panel, that's they're doing the shading. Like that's JR shading. Actually, it's a Capullo middle. That's what he did. He did a Batman. That's what he did. He did a Batman like Arkham, I think a web comic or something. That's the first time I think I saw him. I think I want to say it was
oh,
the
this guy.
Arkham. Yeah, that's the first time I saw him.
Uh,
It was like one. It was not either, or it was just like not a Batman book per se, but I think it was either a Batman tie into a book or an audio drama or something. First time I saw him,
th-
and I thought it was a Capullo ripoff. And I'm like, what's this guy doing? But
you know who I
Capullo
felt was a Capullo?
was a ripoff.
Victor Bogdanovic. The first time
Yeah,
I
you
saw
know
him
what?
was a digital
Crap.
was digital stuff.
I think you're right. Now I'm wrong. I think I'm wrong. I think I'm thinking of Victor Bogdanovich did that Batman thing. I think you're right.
He did the
Very similar to
Capullo, yeah.
this though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking of. Now I think it's this Gleb Milnikov was the guy a couple years ago not he got in a little argument where he was complaining about a Venom issue, if you remember this, where Venom had 6 or 7 pages of just like Venom talking, just like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
And he was
Now,
complaining about drawing that,
no, he was complaining that he's like, I don't
or
like
was he
comics that are
complaining
like
he was
this.
reading it?
He was reading it. He says, I don't like comics like this. You're an artist, blah, blah, blah. And he was just like, he gave like an artist credo. And I was like, ugh. Now I'm going to put a correction up if that's wrong because I feel
Please,
like that could
please
also
do.
be Victor Bogdanovich. Could be one of the two. I feel
Victor
like I have those
Bogdanovich, he
guys
did
in
get
my
in
head.
trouble. He did say
I think
stuff.
that might be him. Okay.
That's
All right.
twice you're confusing these guys.
I'm confusing the comments that this artist made or didn't make.
And
Anyway, let's talk about this art then. Let me just
this
keep
art,
going.
this
Um,
art I like.
yeah, and how about this? So this is kind of fun too because this doesn't look that much different than Stegman's art.
Yeah,
Come on, man. Come on. Like just
and
crazy. And I didn't know they were going to show up. What's the X-Men showing up in here? Like just
well,
crazy.
you knew Juggernaut was going to show up,
Right, because it's all Sidorak stuff. Right, right,
right?
right.
So it's all
Yeah.
Cyttorak stuff. So it only makes sense to like, where is he? Well, he's with these X Men right now.
And they're also and whoever this Justine Ireland thing, they're still doing because the running joke is no one's calling Quentin Quire Kid Omega in every book. So
Yeah,
this is still going here. That's
good
because
job.
Kid Omega, yeah, so you have that character point. Um I don't think I've ever not liked the magic costume. Look at that magic costume. It's crazy. That's
I
so
know.
fun. Yeah. So this is a lot of
She's
fun.
been
Yeah, this is who did well yeah, Ramos did that. Ramos did the book and then it was Nick Bradshaw did Wolverine and the X-Men because some
yeah,
of these people are Wolverine the two of the four characters here are Wolverine and the X-Men characters.
right,
So
right. I think
uh
Scotty Young was the first to draw her when they brought her back in his New Mutant story.
mhm.
New X Men, New Mutants.
New something.
One of those books Scotty Young was drawing pre Oz and I Hate
Mhm.
Fairyland. But you know what's funny is Liefeld had pitched that story twice. Take a shot. Rob mentions Liefeld. Um, that was going to be his next X Force story in X Force Volume One. Is Cable's going to start having dreams about her, and then he was going to bring X Force into hell to go get her. That's why she's in the one New Mutants annual of like X Men Days of Future to
Oh
Come or
yeah, yeah.
something, and they
Like
have her.
right, right, right.
So that was going
That's
to
right,
be the
because
next
she
X
never
Force
joined.
story, and then he leaves for Image Comics, even though he wanted to stay to write. But when he came back and did the X Force Volume Two miniseries after Youngblood Bloodsport, this is like 2003 or something.
Mhm.
Uh, he said he had a follow up series like, hey, I want to do a Volume Two where they go save Magic, and Marvel's like, nah. And then like 3 years later, they let Scotty Young do it.
Mhm.
Was Yost writing it then? Who was writing it?
I
Might have
feel
been
that's
Yost.
right. Yeah, I feel like that's Craig Yost. I feel like
Greg
that's right.
Yost, really good comic writer.
So yeah, congratulations,
So
Justine Ireland. We don't know who you are, but you did it. You fooled us. So great job. I mean, again, just it was late. It was fun. It felt like Joe Kelly. It's still holding the momentum. He does die
whoever
in this,
whoever
so
they
that's good.
are, they're just they hit the ground running.
Well, I know this person is doing some. I know that she's doing some coming up because I think in solicitations I saw her name later, and I'm like, but that's the same story. But I feel like that's when they started doing the points or whatever. But this is a regular number, you know. But yeah, great job.
Yeah, yeah, but
Next up, here
you
you
know what?
go. Take your
She's not
shot.
even working with. I will. She's not even working with like an established artist. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
usually a new writer maybe with an established artist or a new artist with an established writer, and these are both people I didn't really recognize.
right.
So
Yeah,
all right. So Deadpool team up. This is a guy who
here
does
we
not
go.
do 6 pages of talking.
No. Uh, what is this cover? What is it? What is it after? I can't reference it. I don't know if you know what it is. It says after
I didn't do the
JK.
research.
Yeah, I don't
After
know.
JK, who's
I imagine Jack Kirby. Uh,
I assume is it like a Nick Fury thing maybe? Who else would
yeah,
hold a gun?
yeah, I can't think of it. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Forbid.
check his Instagram, whatever. But this is the colorist I like, right? This is I think
One of the many colors that he
I put both
finds.
covers in, and that's a
Cool.
different colorist here.
It's like looks like they're storming out of heaven.
Man, yeah, both of these have a lot of cool coloring effects. I mean, he's always live. Rob always had an eye for his colorists, but here you have like almost like a flame situation back here, um, and you have the smoke over here. It's just crazy. That's a lot of fun there. That's super fun. Major X.
It it is fun.
Look at that
Major
gun.
X, dude.
Woo! Look at that gun.
Tutor and gun. Yeah.
I like it
You
so
know
much.
what?
I put it
He's
there
throwing it all
twice.
against the wall. He's like, this is my last 2 issues from Marvel Comics. I'm just drawing what I want to draw.
I
Doesn't
just
matter
love
what the
his
story
Wolverine,
is.
man. Look at that.
No, he draws a killer Wolverine. Always has. You know?
Yeah.
And I love Lady Deadpool. It's like how did he do Dove? I put a ponytail on her.
Mhm.
And it totally creates a better character. So when they asked him to do Lady Deadpool, he's like, yeah, I'll give her a ponytail.
Little bit splotches here. Love the splotches. Big fan, you know. So yeah, and this has Chance Wolf is credited as one of the anchors. Liefeld, one of the anchors. Look at this gun,
I love
huh?
this, dude. What a great page. Look at the arm. I love the bicep. Just like it's just so awesome. This is
Yeah,
so much fun.
yeah. All this is
This is what
just stupid.
we love.
So fun. Yeah, I
I
love
don't
it.
know when Liefeld made the decision to change the scar. I think it's been changed for 5 or 10 years now. Whenever he does it,
Right.
it's like a more of a singular scar with some extra etches going off of it. But like I missed just a straight up 3 X's.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know,
Well,
whatever.
it's he can do what he wants. You know what I mean? So a lot of fun. There's some scribble on that second page. Inks. That's fun. Oh, yeah, all of it. And then you even get some white beard accents. I wonder how that, that's pretty neat too. White little white stubble.
Yeah,
Uh,
that
yeah,
gun is insane, dude.
yeah. This double spread splash is just wonderful. Everyone getting ready. This again, yeah. This I think I want to read. I mean, I'm reading them all issue to issue, but I think that this is just probably just a really fun, like solid super read. I wish he was
This
doing that cable book, man. Look at that cable. God
I
damn it.
know it's half done. The first issue of Cable First Contact is done.
Maybe they'll get a breather and then do a couple of years after.
You know
Uh,
what you may get, Mark. You may get a free comic book online. Remember I was telling you about Liefeld wanting to
mhm.
do a Cable and Deadpool book like for free online, like John Byrne does.
Right, right.
We might get that First Contact like that, or better, Colonel Bravo. Make it a Colonel
Colonel
Bravo
Bravo,
comic.
baby. Yeah. Do it's Cable fighting American Colonel Bravo.
I
It's
love it,
his
dude.
fighting American character. That's fine. Listen, whatever, whatever is whatever.
Whatever,
I
dude.
I put I left a double spread on this one because I thought that the dragons were like just the this feels very like penultimate. It is, right? Because it's 5 issues, right? So
Yeah.
this is
It's
the
five
issue right
issues.
before. Uh
Shatterstar's rocking a little goatee.
this is a slightly different I don't know if I've ever seen him draw this Hercules. He drew Hercules in Avengers. Does that sound right? Or no? Maybe not. But
I
there
don't
was a
recall.
character. Yeah. Maybe I'm thinking of his Hawkeye. I feel like the costume he's a similar or no, his Thor. I guess his Thor with the
Yeah,
straps and
his store
stuff.
was different.
That's
Correct.
what I think. I think that's what I'm thinking of as far as like the skin and straps. I like the and is this Shatterstar costume from the Shatterstar miniseries?
I believe it is.
Merritt Michaels. That was a Merritt Michaels interior.
Myron Michaels
Uh,
in tears. Yeah. And
that
I
three
love the
issue.
two. They don't name them, do they? I think it's like
Hmm.
Commander X or Lieutenant X. There's like five of these other X, and we don't know who the rest
Right,
of them are.
right.
But you know,
Do you think it's a
so
reveal, or do you
I
think
think
it's?
it could be.
Ah, man.
Could be. I love Doc Samson. Like, yeah, put Doc Samson in it. Doc Samson's awesome. The way John Byrne drew him back in the '80s made me love Doc Samson.
It's funny because I think of Liefeld when he's drawing a lot of the New Mutants, but he's drawing Spider Gwen smaller. You know what I mean in frame. And I think I didn't put the cover of the next issue up, but that same thing where she's jumping, she's smaller than Deadpool. She should be like she should
Yeah,
be petite, but he doesn't draw. I feel like he doesn't necessarily have a character like that, whether running through Vogue, Domino, like whatever, like just all the way through. So, challenging himself to draw down a bit. Just really ridiculous. And
no,
I love that.
he's doing a good job. Like this, like the page to the left with the dragons and the dragon dude who's got a really cool abomination looking face. You didn't end up putting that page
Yeah.
up because
Oh, right.
you people need to go out and buy this book yourself.
Yeah.
Um, but this is a book that I really enjoy reading on my computer.
Hmm.
You know, Google Play is where I get most of my comics. Um, has failed us,
Hmm. Yep.
but this looks really good. I have a 27-inch Mac. It's like 13
Yeah, I
years
do
old. It's
too.
going to die any day. But
I guess
comics
my
like
display
this,
is better than yours. My display is better than yours. Well, just newer, but yeah. So like, yeah, right now I have a double spread, and that's probably why I'm more excited to have it in this frame than have a bunch of windows open. So hopefully that's recording right.
it's art like this that deserves like an absolute size book.
Yeah, the
Like
gallery
that's what I fell in
size. I
love with.
would say the gallery size, like whatever the Weapon X one. I think you saw it at my house one time. The Weapon
Yeah,
X, it's a little bigger. It's
yeah.
not quite. I think Absolute's a bit more taller, but this is. I think it's a nice
I think
size.
Absolute
I
is
have the
almost
Warlock.
original. I think it's almost original art size. I think it's like 11 by 7, 11 and a half by 17.
Mm,
I think it's pretty close to original art size, absolutes, and when whatever else other people call them. My Youngblood book is it's called a maximum edition, which is
right.
something I feel like he should just use that for all his hardcovers in the future.
That's the Joe Casey rescript with that
That's
new
the Joe
coloring.
Casey rescript. Yeah,
Hmm.
he took the first four issue Youngblood, had Liefeld draw, he finished the story instead of the chapter 8 ending, and he just blended it all together in one really good story.
It has Youngblood zero pages mixed
Not
in.
many, not many. Liefeld said he wanted to do a hardcover collecting all like 10 issues of Youngblood. I don't know if Joe Casey had done any more, but I would love to see zero worked in. And
Hmm.
then, 6, 7, 8, 9, Team Youngblood 9.
Team Youngblood, yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see
The
all that
white
blended
cover.
together.
I love that. I love it.
It's cool. Good stuff. But
I
yeah,
love it.
Liefeld rocking it. One more Marvel comic to go. And then it's all Extreme from here out.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, one more Rob Liefeld Marvel comic, and then Extreme for who knows how long. Uh, okay.
I missed this on your list. I just read issue 19 like 3 days ago. I caught up on Hulk. I was three
Oh, the
behind.
800. Yeah, the 800 double
Yeah,
size.
the
And
800/19.
my critical piece of that is Hulk's in 4 pages. This Hulk, so even this issue, because I have pages from this, and this. I mean, you'll probably again. The good thing about being old is I'm going to show you pages, and you'll forget by 3 days from now when you go to read it. So that's what's really great about being
It's
old.
true. It's very
Um,
true.
but again, I think that they're B artists. This is what's really fun because right now we don't know who the B artist for Amazing is, right? We don't know if Gleb Melnicott. We don't really know. We know McGinnis is the main artist, right? But I don't think
What's
JR
Patrick
JR.
Gleason attached to?
Oh, I think
Where'd he
Patrick
go?
Gleason might be doing some amazing coming up. I feel like that's a real thing too. Because I remember seeing Justine Ireland. I want to say Gleason too, but I don't know. I don't know. I feel like he should be drawing Spider-Man. I actually have some of his. I have a Patrick Lee section over there of some Aquamans, some Batman and
Re-
Robins.
really good Aquaman. Yeah, and you have Noble Calls as number one.
No, no,
Should
that
get
is
that.
not around. That is not in.
No, and it's not collected very well either,
Hmm.
and it's not available to buy on Comixology. I don't think.
Where is him? Where is Jay
Where is
Faber?
him? TV.
Where is him? TV. Okay,
He's TV.
making that money,
Um,
baby. It's like Alan Heinberg making that money.
he had another Dynamo 5 miniseries being worked on at one point, and then it never came out. So he's a guy I'd like to talk to.
I don't think I noticed. I'm looking at this cover now. there's like a backpack like little thing here. I don't think it's a Hulk, but it's pretty funny. So Nick Klein cover, but this is Danny Earls. Danny Earls was in, but he was always talking to someone. He was in Baltimore. Um, and I want to say that yeah, there I can't really tell, but I mean this as a B artist, he's the best. He's so good. I mean I like
Yeah,
Nick Klein a ton, but this as a B artist, I'll take that. But I
it's
do
solid.
like yeah, he doesn't say like I'm where I am, it's me, Jack when I'm werewolf by night. So but he's like I'm Jack. Yeah, but again, this is kind of been this body horror book for a bit. And but yeah, that's a great Werewolf by Night. That's a great, another werewolf
Oh
that's
yeah,
really gross.
what chicken turned into.
It's so gross. Um, but yeah, I like all the weird veins coming out. There's a great spread, great page design,
He's got the
great.
veins, but he's also got the scars on Jack Russell.
Yeah,
Jack Russell.
it's
Were
Jack
they just
Russell
laughing?
Terrier,
Were they just laughing when they created that name?
probably. Yeah, I think a lot of them are just like they're. It's just like, all right, we're not going to try that hard, or it's a temp name. I think I
Yeah,
told you my neighbor told me the street that I'm on is called Rural Avenue. It
yeah.
was a temporary name, and they never
Oh, it
changed
was
it.
just a rural avenue.
Right. It kind of like Paper Street, like like in Fight Club, Paper Street. That's where
Yeah.
Tyler Durden lives. There used to be
No,
called Phantom Paper Streets, right? Did you
no,
tell me this?
they're still on maps. Yeah. I if you go sometimes the areas where I deliver, like I'll look at the maps. I'm like, there's no street there, but they
Right.
had like the rest of the development, mapped out, and then they don't build them,
So
or
that's
it's an old
just
street.
just the mhm.
Sometimes they're old streets that just aren't there anymore. Like it was a dirt road, it did go somewhere, and then over time
There's
the
yeah
wilderness took it back.
near Medford. There's a lot of that too, right? Or is it just like it just turns into a dirt road? You know what I mean?
Yes,
It never
yeah,
never
yeah. Oh
finishes
yeah,
down.
there's roads that should connect from like Atzion to Medford to Atco. You know,
Right. Right. Sure. Yeah. Um. Next book up. This one surprised me because well, I just caught up on Ultimates,
okay,
and I kind of wish. And actually, this is kind of a crazy book too because this is Jonas Scharf. So this is a Michael Cho cover. That seem right?
yes,
Okay.
I love
Um.
Michael Cho. In fact, I really love his when DC collects their Golden Age comics. I love his covers the most.
Yeah. Or he does the Marvel Masterworks too.
Yeah.
He's doing that. Okay.
So what we love about this is right off the bat is Nick Fury, and it's traditional Nick Fury in the
Hand.
Ultimate Universe.
Right, but he's part of Hand.
He's part of Hand. You can see the hand on his
Not
shoulder,
Shield. It's not a Shield.
but it's a neat take on the Shield logo.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't realize it at first. This is kind of a precursor what was going to happen a bit later. Um, so here's the new helicarrier. Basically, there's the hand,
Yeah,
uh,
talk to the hand.
which I don't know if I put what hand means here. Oh, heroic anomaly neutralization directorate.
Yes.
Again, as uncomfortable as strategic hazard. Like to me, like
Yeah.
it's because this is different than sword, the sword, which is something else, but also abbreviations, also a watchdog type of organization, blah blah blah. That was a Whedon. So this technically takes place in the new universe. Easter eggs
In
here.
the new Ultimate Universe.
New Ultimate Universe, correct. There's Omega the Unknown at the bottom, Howard the Duck.
Right.
I like that all the agents have whatever. So they have again, Superman could use this when he's flying around just in his suit, a Clark Kent suit.
It's
If he
true.
could use this technology, anti-drone technology, New Jersey technology, but you have someone walking upside down. Who are these little like demon thingies?
I missed that part.
Yeah, I don't know. That's fine.
Maybe they're little messed up clones, a la the Island of Dr. Moreau. Like, these are
Right,
they're
right.
all little Nick Furies.
Yeah, they're all, but they're driving these things. Yeah, there's a mega.
Omega.
Um, but this is Jonas Sharp. This is the guy that just drew the Battle of the Black Stone Conan book. So I'm just like,
Okay.
whoa, okay. I didn't know he could draw tech. I didn't know he could draw. I mean, I've only ever seen him draw Conan, so I don't know. I have
This is a
never
really
seen him
cool
draw
page.
this.
Like, this is a really cool page.
Yeah, yeah. You have a lot of stuff going on this page here. Oh, you know what? That actually, just looking at military Nick Fury right there. That looks like a Silvestri sort of, right? That looks like a Silvestri
Yeah, I can see that.
action, yeah, but thick, almost like a Yannick Paquette in the middle a bit for the head.
Hmm.
Um,
I
uh,
love the
this
magnetic
book,
wave design. That's really neat looking.
yeah, and then deciding to have the black and white, good and evil black and white, literal black and white there,
Yeah.
and then, and I think I have this saved from a previous episode. There's the gun in the holster, the penis in the vagina. It's right there. P to the V.
There you go. You're right. That is
So that's
the train. That's a train going in the tunnel. That
that's
is
it.
put the hot dog in the bun. That is every movie
Was it in High Anxiety
cliche.
where they just had a montage of like all the metaphors in a row? I think they
I
had
think it was
that.
high anxiety. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, fantastic. But yeah, but then so this backs up to I guess I don't know if this was previous or now or the that miniseries that I didn't care about, the Hickman miniseries I didn't care about. But I think Dennis Camp basically has taken all the stuff and is now like, all right, he's the new architect. Hickman may have done that piece, but he's doing his Spider-Man, which kind of exists. But I feel like the universe itself, Dennis Camp is kind of taking over and saying, okay, this is what's going on. Because this whole issue is great. Also, this was kind of a big misdirect, right? Um, because, okay, what do we got here? All right. So again, now we're getting some history. There's Mantis. And that was, I'm trying to think there.
Dude, I love the 50s characters. I love 3D Man,
Yeah.
Golden Age Vision, right? Golden Age Vision.
Yeah.
Um,
You have a double dinosaur in there. That's
and Devil
fun.
Dinosaur.
Doesn't make any sense. Fine. Again,
Doesn't
the,
have
the
to.
this type of stuff, yeah, if it's done with the right nuance, it's like even that second panel, technically that could be his space adventures, right? But that costume is super fun. Just do it. Just do it. I'm like, look, when Liefeld decides to do costumes all the time, different cable costumes every issue, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, great. It was always something that we'd want to draw. You know what I mean? Like, okay, we got big shoulder pads, right? Then he's got his bare chest with the big shoulder pads, right? You know exactly what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, okay, I love that. Okay, I like the cable pin up in the back where it's just like a vest. It's actually like the Shatterstar vest, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot, but there's a lot going on here. He's killing Dum Dum Dugan, yucks. Okay, no, all right, now he's killing kids.
Child.
Cool.
Child Black Bolt. Puppy.
He's
Puppy
killing
Lockjaw.
Power Pack. He's killing Power Pack. Blah. You know what I mean? Like, so not nice.
So is this? Does he think he kills Hank Pym? Right? Is that Hank Pym in a one?
That's Wasp. Yeah.
Wasp,
Well,
who
yeah.
are alive in Ultimates.
Right. Right. So I don't know when this is or if this was pre the maker fixing everything.
Right.
Um, but I didn't put the spoiler in. I didn't put the
Okay.
spoiler in.
That's how nice of you.
I think it's pretty big. I think, and it
I think
kind
it
of,
makes, you know what? I agree with you. We typically spoil things because they're not like a big surprise. We're just talking about the story. But when you actually read a comic that tells a story a certain way, I think it's cool to not show that.
yeah, I think there's too much work in the front end. So this is the best tennis camp book I've ever read. There's too much work in the front end. So when you have that reveal, I was just like, I don't want this, and I liked that. I like that. There's a couple times where I didn't call you or text you on this one, but I didn't want that to happen. But then it can go back on itself a little bit. Maybe a couple pages later they do something else. Um, but they did have, and this is credited. This is an Ultimate Wolverine. So this is literally like up. I have 3 pages I want to say. So you're
Okay.
having an Ultimate Wolverine prelude here.
Right.
Fine, cool.
Yeah.
I like that costume.
It's a cool looking costume.
I didn't even wear this Wolverine stuff thinking that I'd have so much Wolverine this week. Right? It was like Wolverine and Deadpool. I didn't do it on purpose. It's funny. But I love this. Yeah, I love this costume. I'm curious why that he has the face mask thing. I don't know if there's anything. Maybe he's got a mangled face, or maybe nothing. Well, no, I guess he does. Look, they're saying it. They're like, geez, cover that up. Maybe he heals it. Maybe he doesn't heal it. Maybe it takes a longer time to heal. Don't know. But
Yeah, maybe it stops that from healing.
he's bleeding there. He's bleeding, putting that out. I mean, this is maybe when he's early. Yeah,
Maybe it's not Wolverine.
it's Winter Soldier. Technically, it says that, and he's
You're right. Technically, it
our
is Winter
Winter
Soldier.
Soldier. Bravo. Great one shot. Great. But this is what's frustrating is that, and even when they show other stuff in it, there's no X-Men here. You know what I mean? This is technically Wolverine, right? But I just don't know how they're going to rectify the Peach Momoko X-Men stuff and put that actually into it. So if they're going to have an annual, it's basically was Ultimate's annual, Ultimate's Universe annual, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, just really really fun. This had a co-artist. Okay, so you have a Marquez and then I think it's Edgar Salazar.
Yeah.
This issue I didn't really like because this issue took place before the end of last issue, so we're seeing the same thing
We're seeing, yeah,
basically.
it like takes place both before, simultaneous, and then after.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
I
it's
liked all
interesting,
there's Gambit. There's or I'm sorry, there's Gambit of course, yes, but there's Grifter on the end. You know,
right?
Grifter.
Grifter, Kitty Pryde, Rogue, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, and
I hate
Boy Death. I
that
don't know.
Kitty Pryde costume. No good. Thumbs down.
It's not Kitty Pryde though, right? It's
Yeah, I think so. I don't even know
no, it's
so.
not Kitty Pryde. It's one of the kids. I'm just saying,
Oh, I don't know if I like that emoji. I like that Wolverine face. I thought this was very I thought that a lot of the faces that were done in this is a Marquez, but I feel like a lot of the faces that were done in it almost feels like a Cassaday a little bit too, right? Uh but it's a very Kevin McGuire
yeah, like an Adam Hughes.
JLI.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. And I like this, even though this is in this page here. I think this is a wonderful because it's a silhouette, but it's silhouette with all the like different costume accents, right?
yeah.
That's great. That's so that's great. It's weird that top panel looks like it's not even done. It's still
Yeah, they're going
effective.
for that. Yeah,
It's still effective, but I don't
neat.
know.
Yeah, the bottom panel kind of reminds you like a Car Andrews type of thing.
Yeah, and this might maybe this is not. I don't know. Again, when you have the people with the similar styles, maybe that's not Marquez. Maybe these two pages aren't Marquez. Maybe that's that other guy.
Possibility. So we got what? Sentinel dogs, Dogginals.
Goggonals. They look like Ravage. They look like which we'll
Yes,
get to later. Uh, yeah.
right. So it's cool. So we got Toad,
Whew.
Blob, and Siren.
Yeah, I love Toad. You know what's funny is I VPN like we talked about last week. I VPN'd to Canada, right? And then I joined like the Peacock of Canada, basically, which was like CDC, and I'd see ads or whatever. So they're still getting me, right? I'm watching ads, but I watched the first two episodes of Essex County, and the guy who plays Blob, which is I forgot
Evan
about
Durant.
his name. Yes, uh,
You like
he
how I just
is.
is that crazy? I can pull that out
Yeah, yeah,
sometimes,
yeah.
and then I'll stammer over something else.
Oh, if anyone wants to have some fun, look up Today Show and Kevin Durand because when he was promoting the new Planet of the Apes movie because he was the main Planet of the Ape, he does like a thing where he walks around as an ape and it's crazy
That's
looking. Like
cool.
it's so crazy looking. You're just like and he made everyone uncomfortable. He's like, I'll make you uncomfortable, and he got up and like he was way into it. Like it was really funny and really
I
strange.
think he's like buddies with Hugh Jackman. I
Oh,
think
really?
they yeah. I don't know if they met on the robot boxing movie, Real Steel. I don't
Real
know if they
still.
met there, became friends there, or they helped each other get the jobs. But
Okay.
I know him. He
But
went
he's the
back.
blob.
He's the
He's
Blob.
yeah.
But prior to the Blob, prior to the Strain, he was on Dark Angel, the Jessica Alba James Cameron show
Oh,
from the
really?
late '90s.
Hmm.
Yeah, he played like this dog dude, like half man, half dog.
He's always had some type of animal or some type of mutation, I
Yeah,
suppose, there. So just lay here. Sorry, I'm trying to get my
he
cat
was on
food.
I think he was on season 2 of Lost as well.
Oh yeah, it was some of the other passengers.
Yeah,
Yeah, but to me, like, okay, so this is four issues. So we wasted this issue. This is a waste. I don't I don't know. Wasted.
I don't
Wasted.
know. I don't know if it's a waste, but it doesn't move forward as good as it should.
No. And I feel like this would be
But
maybe
what
like
it
an
does
extra
tell,
character. Is that Wild
I
Child? Who do
think
we think that is? I don't know
you
who
know
that
what I
is.
think. I think who the guy up front.
Yeah.
I thought that was Toad.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Could be Toad. Could be Wild. I wish it was Wild Child. Wild Child's awesome.
Yeah. What was it? What was I think my favorite Wild Child? Well, I think the Wild Child, Joe Mad, Age of Apocalypse Wild Child. But then I want to say next would be like in line would be like Matsuda, right? I would say the Matsuda Wild
Matsuda,
Child.
X Factor. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Which
those
had
are.
Sabretooth and Mystique on the team.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, I don't know if it's ever followed up on. I guess I'm just not the Alpha Flight expert most people are. But do you remember the Marvel Comic Presents story that Liefeld drew? Take a shot.
Mhm.
He does a Wolverine versus Wild Child 3-part series, and Wolverine's talking about Wild Child, and he says something like, "Oh, but he's just like his old man." I'm like, "Well, who's his old man?"
We don't
Like nobody else follows
know.
up on that.
No one
Like
knows.
as a 14-year-old, I'm like, "Well, it's got to be Sabretooth, maybe Sabretooth's his dad," and that's just the most obvious answer. I mean, shit, maybe Wolverine's his dad. We don't know.
Well, we want the Claremont explanation. We would rather have the Claremont explanation of Sabretooth, I think.
Oh yeah,
I do.
yeah. The Claremont Burns Sabretooth much better than the Larry Hama, which I love. I love Larry Hama's Wolverine run so much.
Hmm.
The Lama, especially when it was like Silvestri and Tex and Pasella drew a couple issues. Like they are so good. Dwayne Turner or Frank
Yeah,
Turner. Frank Turner?
no, it was a
Dwayne
Dwayne
Turner.
Turner
Was
one
Dwayne
issue.
Turner?
Yep.
Um, that stuff's so good, but like it just he makes the decision to not make Sabretooth Wolverine's dad.
Right.
I don't know why. It's
I
just
don't
an
know. I
offhanded
wonder
Shield
if it's
comment.
a
He's like, "Oh, both your blood works are weird, but he's not your dad." I'm like,
yeah. I wonder if that's
no,
a Bob Harris or though. Like you don't know. It could be a Bob Harris.
it could
Look,
be.
I think Bob Harris a lot for making some mistakes over time and creating Hellboy inadvertently. So,
It's
uh,
true.
which is because he fired Mignola. Mignola went elsewhere, and then
He
boom, boom,
didn't
boom, boom, boom.
fire him. He just failed to give him
Didn't.
further
Yeah.
employment.
Right. Exactly. So, all right. So this is a little confusing. Okay. So they're
Okay,
doing a Disney Plus series where this is the Tom Holland Spider-Man when you see him in the sweatsuit in, I guess, Civil War, right?
correct,
That's the only time we
correct.
ever really see that.
Hmm.
So I thought it was going to be more towards that, but I'm not exactly sure. Now, this is the first time I've seen, so this is animation cover. However, this looks exactly like a Leandro Romero, like who it did character designs. Chris Samney did character designs for this book. Uh, Prequel comic to the upcoming show, which could technically be, the high school years, the junior high years of Spider-Man, I suppose, right? So pre Tom Holland. But it's interesting. This is Eric Gabster. I know he became the new Andy Parks. So Phil Hester drew for a long time, but Gabster became his inker, Phil Hester's main inker when Andy Parks started to do other things and wasn't they kind of broke up a little bit amicably, I suppose. But first time I saw him draw, and I do want to say that the chops on that is pretty great. I do think like okay, here's your I got my powers, the woohoo. Okay, so and then this is coming down because
Yeah, this is all very
yeah,
Amazing Fantasy 15. It's
yeah,
cool. They're coming down. I love he's just breaking center blocks. Um, what's weird about this book is, like you said, we think it's pre Civil War Tom Holland Spider Man, but at one point when they were talking about it, like, oh, we're gonna have Norman Osborn, and we're gonna have this, we're gonna have this, and I'm like, wait a minute, he didn't meet any of these characters yet. Like, you can't do all this in this
yeah.
cartoon. But then the
Well,
cartoon got delayed, so we don't know if it's gonna have all that stuff in it. And then there was a rumor it's going to be his freshman year, because remember, wasn't it originally called freshman?
right, yeah,
And then people assumed freshman. Oh, maybe it's freshman like in college, you
right.
know. But then why would he have this costume?
But so going back to this is like the first page or the one or this is a very early page.
Right.
It's a very unremarkable spider bite, right? It's not in a lab. There are holes in the high school. Does
Yeah. Well,
anyone talk about what happens here? All this craziness. Like it doesn't. I don't think know if we get. I guess we get that later, or I don't know if they come
It's
back
kind of
to
a
it.
lackluster story. It's like, oh, just a random spy. Like, yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're going to fill all that stuff in later. But the point is, like, it's just a weird way to tell the
It's a
story.
middle. It's just where did the spider come from? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Normally, it's in a lab or outside of museum. Like like it. I don't know. I feel like it's. So if we don't have to see again, this is the thing that we'll see how James Gunn handles like not re-showing Batman's parents getting killed. Right? We'll see. He says
Right.
he's not going to show it. Yeah, sure. Um, but we never saw Peter Parker like because everyone's like, yeah, we know it. We've seen it a bunch of times. We've seen it. We know it. And I'm like, so if this is the origin, I'm gonna meet this like Gen X looking person, and I'm gonna get unremarkably bitten by a radioactive spider. As a radioactive, this is a blue spider. I don't know. So this confused me. I'm not going to read this anymore. I think that's all right. But I did this page. I did like. I do like the
You know who that Gen X looking chick is, right?
no
That's Nico
Nico.
from Runaways.
Oh, okay. Well,
Well, I think so. She mentions she's from LA a couple times.
it says
Then she talks
Nico.
about
I'm Nico Minoru. So if
right.
that's her name,
I didn't bother. No research here. I didn't bother to check the
yeah.
last name. Um, so I think it's the Runaways girl. She talks about the gangs of LA, which her each of the parents of the members of the Runaways like leaders of different
Mhm.
gangs
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
LA. And it'd be more interesting if they kind of connect this to the Runaways TV show. The Runaways TV show is actually kind of good, not as good
Mhm.
as the comic, but they did a
Right.
pretty good job with it. Pretty good cast. Um, and the
Yeah,
lead
the main
guy
kid
got
was in
yeah,
Penguin, right?
yeah, it
Yeah.
becomes Victor on Penguin. So I don't know. There's no reason to not have that Runaways show count in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, so this, I mean, the last page, the only thing that, and again, I don't know if they're going more for like an Ultimate Spider-Man type of thing, the bend is decompressed, but like you don't have him in the costume at all. And then he looks at potentially a Chris Evans poster, maybe. I don't know. I just am not a huge, I don't know. I don't know.
I sent you a picture on your cell phone, so post that. You know,
Oh,
yeah, up at New York, they had a big thing for this show. So I just
oh boy. Look at you. That's a mug and a half.
yeah,
Oh, so they gave you a Daily Bugle.
I gave you and I
Oh,
got a cool little pin from it. If you stood in line, took a picture, promoting their new show for the Neighborhood Spider-Man, they gave this little metal pin of Spider-Man swinging in his sweats.
yeah. Again, I'm looking forward to it. We'll see. So,
The show. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the
um,
show. I'm looking forward to some neat animation. This is the first time Disney gets to do a Spider-Man animation since Ultimate Spider-Man or the Web Warriors or whatever came out of that.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was all
Web
Disney.
Warriors.
But now that like Disney is such a good rep with X-Men 97 and What If, and you have to outdo Sony. You have to outdo Sony's Spider-Verse movies,
Mhm. I don't
which
know.
are, really it's really hard to beat them.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
So you got strong competition here. So let's see. And be even neater. This guy shows up in the next Spider-Verse movie.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah. Because this technically is again any version of Spider-Man is going to be it could potentially be in a Spider-Verse movie
Right.
to the
Correct.
point where we had Prowler, which we never got in actual, but we had Donald Glover Prowler. Um, okay, so this is the like clearly hands down book of the week, right? This is it.
Yes.
This is beyond. I have a couple variant covers here, so this is the Dustin Nguyen
Mhm.
variant cover, which is
We are
beautiful
we are talking about Transformers 15
watercolor.
for those listening on Spotify.
Oh yeah. This is the Jorge Corona. I'll have to find a better, larger picture of this and plop that there. But this was one of the ones where they held and they said spoilers. Like it was like remember they had a bunch of covers. They spoiler, spoiler.
Yeah, yeah.
What's the spoiler about this? I don't understand. What are you doing? Like, is that
Hey,
just
the spoiler is dies.
yeah? But you can't really tell from this thing that he dies. So
I don't know.
uh, and then this is the main cover.
Who's that
You know,
behind him? When
Bruticus.
you know Transformers like us, you just know silhouettes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know,
A lot of good. I guess reverse white lines here. Blurred lines.
blurred
Um,
lines.
yeah, we talked about this a few times this week. I want to say, yeah, and actually, I think it would have been cooler. Like, so say that one, two, three, four, five, the fifth panel would have been cool if it was just like the Murder Falcon kids, like, but it wasn't. I was looking at it, I was like, is that? Oh no, I just have it. Like, who cares? Like just kind of plop them in. Yeah, this is Jorge Corona's. I mean, he had some time off. He had two issues of was it Jason Armstrong. Um, so yeah, so he rested up. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. I believe that like I would say the Zakum in the last panel, bottom right. I think the lettering is Jorge Corona popping that in. But there's a lot of faces. This is the most emotive robots ever.
Yes.
A lot of stuff in this. A ton.
Oh
Also,
man, you can see Thundercracker starting to break. Like you've seen it in other issues where he's just like it's just murder for murder's sake.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So he's basically saying like I can't, and just him making that face and telling them to run and then blow up or kind of go around them so that he knows that they're gonna
Yeah.
make it out.
Hmm.
Just stupid, just crazy, crazy. That yeah, there we go. I zoomed in on that because I just
Okay,
feel
good.
like that like oh, I don't know about this. And
In IDW comics, Thundercracker had a turnaround as well. He actually become fascinated with America and like TV in particular. He wanted to be a movie writer, I think. Like he just
we
got
talk
fascinated with
TV.
that. That's right. You talk TV, I talk TV, and now the news.
And now I talk some TV.
Don't touch that dial.
86 baby. I feel like every time everyone's over, I just pop on, Transformers the movie. I just pop that on.
I can always watch that movie.
Yeah. Here's some more Anguish face.
Ah,
Uh
look at poor Cliff Jumper. Just brutal, dude. It's like missing his little horn. Just so messed up.
yeah, all of this is pretty heavy. Everyone's beat up. I had Warpath when I was a kid. Did you
So did
have
I.
it?
So did
So
I.
out of okay, I had Blur. I did not have Blue Streak, but I had a Cliff Jumper. Of course, I had Bumble Jumper.
Yeah,
I
you had
had
all the
I had
mistakes.
all three. Yeah, well, actual Bumblebee, actual Cliff Jumper, and Bubble Jumper, which
Wait,
for
did you have red Bumblebee or yellow Cliff Jumper?
uh Red Bumblebee.
Red Bumblebee, very cool. Yellow Cliff Jumper, very cool. There's another one called Bumper. It's just a third design. He's more square. He's Cliff Jumper without the spoiler on the back, and he's
Mm,
more I don't know, Mercury Lynx Ford Escort looking.
right, right, right.
So they just he was never. I think they kept putting him out wrong, so fandom just calls him Bumper.
Because
And
it's
then of
not
course,
listed. Oh, someone did a card on that though, right? Didn't someone make a mock card
yes, yeah.
for
I
Bumper?
think Figueroa did a design for him for one of the Transformer Universe books, the More Than Meets the Eye
Oh well, I'll have to find
Dreamwave
that.
book. Also, and then now yellow. What did they use for Hubcap? Was he just yellow Cliff Jumper, or was he like a mishmash of them?
I don't remember.
Hubcap was the third series when they, when they changed Brawn into Outback and changed Huffer into Pipes.
Oh, right, right, right. When did they turn Bumblebee into Goldbug?
Well,
You
that
shall
was later
be
when he was a throttle pack. That was the fourth wave of Transformers.
well, you shall be Goldbug. I will call
Dude,
you.
did I ever tell you that whole joke I used to make?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll just tell it for everyone else now. Bumblebee gets destroyed during Transformers Headmasters, or no, Return of Optimus Prime, right?
Yeah,
So
that's right.
like Bumblebee, they rebuild him up and he looks totally different. He's like, and Bumblebee is like, wow, look at me, I'm some kind of a gold bug. And Prime's like, then that'll be your name, Gold Bug. And Bumblebee like, I always wanted to say, oh, I like Bumblebee. I can still be
Right.
no Gold Bug. It is.
Yeah, you've said it, and that you shall
You
be
said a word.
declaring.
Now it's your name.
But you kept doing jokes where you just put everyone's name and just kept doing it. With your kids and stuff, right? Didn't they have something? And they were like, okay, and you are. Oh man, that's so
You
fun.
know, it's funny when you say so many jokes, you just forget. Like
Yeah,
I've
I
said
know
so
you
much
told me
stuff to
the
my
jokes.
girls. I've said so much shit to my girls. I'm amazed they're semi-normal.
They, yeah,
But you know
uh,
what? They're funny. They're like they're funniest amongst their friends because I've given them such a hard time and like done so much weird humor with them. Like now they're like the funniest amongst their friends.
yeah. Well, I think my daughter Sophia is all about like the airplane type of humor. Like there was someone posted this week where it's a Jesus. Will you look at the time and it was a clock with Jesus painted on it,
That was
and he
me.
stared. Did you send it to me?
Yeah, I sent
Yeah,
that to
yeah.
you.
And I just sent it around. And I showed my dad today, and I showed my stepmother today. Like, just like, look at this. This is the best thing ever. So he was like, "Can you find that paint?" I was like, "Maybe. I'll go to the Berlin Mart. I'm sure they have one. For $5. I would hang that in my house. I have everything on the walls of my house.
Post it if you
Uh,
post it here.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I could totally
Are,
post
are,
it.
are you
Yeah.
taking notes? Post the picture of me and Spider-Man. Post
I'm just
this.
gonna watch it. Yeah, I'm just gonna watch, and then I'll plop it in there.
This is fun
There.
stuff.
Yeah, so I'm
I
hoping that this new format, again, the kind of the good thing and the bad thing is that I'm literally just screenshotting like all my digital. So this was like 105 pictures, something stupid. But
staying on topic. You know what I love? I
mm,
love when people go to yard sales or just pick out old paintings from the trash and they
mm,
paint stuff on them. Most famously, it's Godzilla, King Kong. They put Lord of the Rings
right,
characters in them.
right,
But
right,
one
right.
guy was doing Transformers, just painting G1 Transformers. Devastator. I think Bruticus, no, Predator Kings is one of them. And I'm
Mm.
like, oh, that looks so cool.
Yeah,
You
I've seen
know,
there's a guy, Royax today, Royak, who does. I think I sent you the one thing where he took Jack Kirby drawing and he made wood pieces of it, and it was like I think it was 6 foot tall. It was like, you know, I'll plop it
that's
in there.
neat.
Um, it was like 700, $800 or something like that. I'm like, oh, I wonder if I
You know,
could make something like that
I
though.
always like feel bad whenever I drive by because being a UPS driver, I see trash all the time. Sometimes it's really good stuff, and I always see these paintings. I'm like, what if this is the painting that somebody hid like the Declaration of Independence behind?
Right. Or there's an
Which
actual
really,
one
but that
hidden.
really happened. That's a real thing that happened.
Right,
You know, like people
right,
hide stuff, and I'm not going to stop and grab every painting I see. I did
right.
pick you up that awesome Captain America Jack
Yeah, I still
Kirby
have that.
poster.
That's right. I still have that. And it
You were
was
like, yeah, I saw that. I'm like,
what was that? Was that after Wife One? That was like in the middle. I was like out doing something.
yeah, it was in between wives, and you were like, you just weren't in a good place. I'm like, and I saw that. I'm like, this is awesome. I'm
This will
like,
make him happy for
you were in a
4 minutes.
like you and I both. Captain America might be one of our favorite Marvel characters,
Yeah,
but you were in like a Captain America mode at that point. I'm like, you know
yeah,
what? He needs this. He needs this today. And you
yeah.
were on your
And
lunch break. I'm like, I'm in Mount Holly today, which I rarely ever in Mount Holly,
right.
which is close to where you work in Mount Laurel.
Yeah, we met in like a parking lot of like a condo place or
Yeah.
something like that. It was really
People thought
funny.
probably like a drug deal was going down. It's like, nope, just a comic poster. It was framed, right? Was it behind
Yeah,
plastic?
yeah.
Yeah,
I still have the frame. I think the Transformers poster downstairs is I swapped it for that.
that's fine.
But I do still have that poster. But here's the good thing with this: every time Prime talks, I can hear Prime's voice,
No,
right?
this is great for all their voices, with the exception of Soundwave. Soundwave talks way too much. And when I
Right.
try to hear that Soundwave voice, it's like, it's hard because he just talks so much. I guess
So
the cartoon was very good at only giving him a line at a time. But
yeah,
when I read this, I do hear Peter Cullen. I do hear Susan Blue for RC. We just name everyone.
yes. Well, this I put a spotlight on because like I don't know what is going on here. There's almost like a charcoal. Look underneath like Prime's chin.
No,
Like,
I see what he's doing there.
oh my God. Like there's so much going on and the blotches are just crazy.
Blotch. You
Um,
love your Blotch.
oh man, this is so
Do you
ridiculous.
remember Blotch?
Mm.
Image number 0. That was McFarlane's fourth pinup. It was like this
Oh,
frog looking dude with robot legs
yeah.
too. First Cyber Frog. No,
All his unfulfilled promises. Everyone
I
did
know.
stuff, you
Everyone did
know,
stuff. Everyone
good
did a short
stuff.
story. McFarlane's like, hey, here's 4 pinups,
Larson,
bud.
very important story, which literally dovetails into the next storyline.
Yeah,
Very important.
it's a chapter that fills in. But we got to do an Image 0 episode. But
Yeah.
it fills the stories between Savage Dragon miniseries, Savage Dragon ongoing. Youngblood introduces Troll for the first time with Art T. Bear inking Liefeld.
Mm.
Celestri is a striker story that leads into Codename Strike Force.
Yeah.
But McFarlane,
Good color on that
nope.
too.
4 pinups.
Boring pinups.
Sweat,
Sweat, blood.
blood, blotch.
Wasn't there a murderer guy? Who's the murder guy? That's what I think
Sweat.
I'm missing.
Oh, is it the green guy?
I don't know. I thought it was like a vampire looking guy.
Hmm. I don't know.
Oh,
I'll have to get back to you. Put it
I'll
up.
put it up.
Oh, it's this guy. I'll just pretend I'm
Yeah,
seeing it right
exactly.
now.
There you go. There it is.
But Blotch is like the
Um,
laziest. You know what's surprising to put up? There's a pinup by McFarlane of it's called Blood, Sweat, and Tears. And it's Blood, who becomes Tremor. Sweat, who just looks like, James Hetfield, handlebar mustache, long haired
that's what I'm
dude.
thinking of. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. It's a
But
vampire looking guy.
that's Sweat. And
Sweat.
Tears was just like a McFarlane chick who may or may not look like remember the weird chick he drew for one of his drawing lessons on the Staber home, was it Staber home video?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I don't know. I got an image of that. We'll put that on something else one day. So back
Yeah.
to trans spiraling back.
Spiraling back. This is this like lens flare. This like J.J. Abrams Spielberg lens flare thing is
Right.
ridiculous, right? Um, yeah, I just like that we're still taking the care to do vehicles and them talking as vehicles because that's a lot of Transformers where they're just going to the next thing and they got
Yeah.
like, what are we gonna do? Let's make a strategy. This is what's happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wheeljack design Jazz like he doesn't have to draw that angle for that stuff. But and then it's like I'm going to do these lens flares that no one's ever done ever. Um, yeah, so I zoomed in on that the lens
Good.
flares. That's so
What is he
insane.
drawing with, dude?
I don't know. Well, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so there's the motion blur. That's what we call it, right? That's actually
Right. Not and not
a
not
special effects
blur,
term.
not blur from the previous pages, but
Right,
the
right, right.
motion blur.
But like the which we saw in Batman Dark Patterns this week, which we know Warren Johnson does, we know James Harren does it. And it might have all been stolen from Bacalo years back.
But you know what?
Uh,
We like it. And you name
I
three
love it.
artists that have something
Yeah,
similar in their base.
and I just can't believe that I didn't really
Ooh,
want. Yeah,
just
I
kill me.
just kind of zoomed in on that. I didn't want to put everything, but
It's
like
brutal.
yeah, again, same
Brutal.
thing. You got the motion blur on the bottom of that. You have a lot of and again, I imagine that everyone's got to go back to their, but this was a little story wise a little confusing, but so there is a Dark Optimus, I suppose, so there is some type of programming like Iron Giant robot programming, yeah, like
He
so.
he he was a war machine, you know. I also wonder if it's some of the military training wasn't
Oh, no,
Spike's
yeah, they
dad.
talk about that. Yeah, they
Yeah,
talk about that a little bit later. That's what he's like, because he even says, he's like, I don't know why I did that. I don't know what happened. And they
yeah.
talk a little bit about that where, because Spike's dad,
Sparkplug
Sparkplug,
was
walks
in
into the Matrix.
yeah,
Just shows, oh my
and
gosh.
and he was former military,
Yeah,
so he's got the training.
yeah. Okay. Now, this page is painful.
It
Okay.
is.
I dislike that. Here it is. I hate this. I
Do
hate it.
you did your cats suffer when your one cat died? Like, did they know? Did they absolutely show?
They, they walked around. They hit, two of them hid. Two hit, like when they knew that I was going to take them, they disappeared. So two of them hid upstairs, completely gone. I wanted
Were
to
they?
like, I don't know. I think they
Did
knew
you did?
something was up.
Okay, you didn't. You took him right, and they
Hmm.
put him down.
Yeah.
So it's not like they
Yep. I
found
held
him
them.
dead.
No, no, no. Yeah, but this is Ravage. This is Laserbeak who having his brothers in arms essentially have it Ravage, and Ravage
Yeah,
we think that, and again he's been carrying him for 3 issues or something,
yeah.
like and tried to have him fixed, I think, an issue or two ago when he may still have some life in him, um, and was told no.
It's a shame you can't like transform him into a tape just to carry him.
You
You ever
just
see
got to
that
carry him.
episode? You ever see that episode where Prime like just grabs Megatron, picks him up, and then just transforms him into the gun?
Oh no. Oh
Yeah,
my
Prime did
gosh.
that. I think that season one. He
Oh my
just grabs
gosh.
him, and Megatron's like, "What are you doing?" He's like,
Oh my god.
just
There
manhandles.
was,
He just manhandles Megatron into a gun.
yeah, there was, but I love this, and I think that Laserbeak flying at the that last pound, that's like
That's really fluid.
the
It's
extension, yeah, the extension of the arm and then the legs.
like
That's a
if that were animated, you would see the wings come down, the
Yeah,
laser come out the thrusters. You know, like you could see it take off.
yeah. So that's really fun. So that's a different motion blur. You're right, because you can't really have that, and I was it's funny, earlier in the issue I was like, Danny Warren Johnson would do when people Transformers are almost they're half transforming. He would do that a lot,
Yes,
and kind of put that in there because it's like, well, I'm taking a snapshot of this moment, and if I'm going to take it from mentally the cartoon, I'm going to take it. He's saying this, and this is it. You know, I do like the bend of Blue Streak's head at that action panel at the end. I think that's interesting. I think it's a
that is interesting.
that's more of Corona's style though. That's his style peeking out a little bit. But overall, I mean, all this is just
Poor,
ridiculous.
poor Ramjet. Is he Ramjet? It is Ramjet, right?
Yeah.
Like did they call him purple? Like
Uh,
is that to make you not think he's Ramjet? Because Ramjet's not purple, he's white.
Well, I wonder if there's a lot of them because again, they're on Cybertron, so there
There
could
could
be
be
a
more seekers. They're called seekers.
right. So he's got a purple up ahead, so that could be looks like a scout. So that purple might have been their designation and color for their ranking, maybe.
Well, also, they always show like the Acid Rain 3. The
Mm,
remember early on there's always a bunch of seekers. Like we only know Starscream, Thundercracker, Skywarp. But like the first season, here's a yellow one, here's a green one, here's a weirder purple one.
right,
And
right,
then
right.
second season we got Thrust, Dirge, and Ramjet. And to differentiate them in the cartoon, they left their nose cones up,
Right, right, right. Yeah, yeah,
which I never left them up. I just preferred them down. I thought they looked stupid.
yeah. I'm trying to.
The
I
cone
only
heads.
had one of the first wave. Who was the first wave? Starscream. I never had a Starscream.
Starscream, Thundercracker, Skywarp.
I had Skywarp.
Skywarp's the coolest looking. I always liked Skywarp.
Yeah.
Plus, he's the one
Uh,
who could teleport.
right, right, right. All right. So here's more sad faces.
Oh yeah,
Uh, sad, just ridiculous. And again, this kind of illustrates more of like so they're literally like, what is this? Oh, it reminds me of Dune, right? Where they got to get the was it Dune? They got to get the water out of the person. They kill the person, then
oh yeah,
they pull the water from this. That's what
yes,
this reminded me of. They got to get the energon out of this. All right, let's kill this guy. Pull the energon out of him. And it's like, oh, I hate this. Looks like he's going to throw up, you know.
yeah, yeah.
And it's like, listen, you know, you're weak, you know. Yeah, that's all right. I zoomed in. Look at that. But I don't know how you start this drawing. Again, I don't know. I don't know. I hadn't looked at how fun. Yeah. Welcome Trailblazer, and then that's it. He's really showing up.
Oh yeah, this is brutal
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But this
because you're all prepared to get Trailbreaker back. You're like, yeah,
right,
Trailbreaker, bring him back.
right. But I think that this was a little confusing, I think, storytelling wise, because I put this page in because I couldn't tell because the coloring here, like I didn't know that was really prime, so I thought the coloring could have helped me out a little bit here because I couldn't you couldn't really tell. You're like, what? Why did he go by him? You know what? He's going by me. I'm Optimus Prime. You know what I mean? Like that's because there's all these different warring Decepticon factions. Prime is not important here. And
Right.
I imagine we're getting this toy. I would imagine that this would be something that they could do. Yeah, they could work on this thing.
Yeah.
A little bit of lens flare there with blaster flare, but yeah, just kind of crazy. Maybe. Oh, okay. All right, here we go. Make sure
All
that's
right.
right. I must have moved those around a little bit. That's okay. Um, yeah, but this hands down. I mean, even looking at this page, all the different textures. I don't know what he's working on. I don't know if it's digital, if that's on paper. There's a lot of ink. Could be. I mean, Danny Warren Johnson's paper. He does paper. You know, I don't know what
Yeah.
his pages go. I don't know what his Transformers pages go for. You know, I don't want to know. And he's
All
doing
right.
like reverse blotching on it. Yeah, this was hands down my favorite book. Next book we're gonna catch up, kind of winding it down. Um, so yeah, Uncanny Valley the
Yeah.
sixth, right?
Yes.
From Boom.
So this is great right off the bat. You get a Gertie the dinosaur,
Right.
the first animated movie. Um, when people saw this movie, Winsor McKay, famous Winsor McKay, Nemo Slumberland, people couldn't tell this was like they kind of knew what it was, but when they left, they're like, oh yeah, we saw a dinosaur. Like as far as they knew, it was like real.
Right, right, right.
Like you ever see the story of people who saw the first movie of like a train coming at them? People were like fainting, and having heart attacks because
Right,
they thought
right,
it was a
right.
real train because they had no idea what a movie was.
Right, right.
Just something I thought I'd end there. This is very interesting, like in
Yeah.
the beginning of cartoon worlds, you know, Gertie.
Right, right, right. So this essentially is kind of doing a full history. Um, ugh, that's very uncomfortable. But I guess you can do this. You technically can do Steamboat Willie, right? So this
You can
technically
100% do Steamboat Willie.
so this kind of is timely in the fact that we're doing a Steamboat Willie here.
Walt
Um,
Disney did not design Mickey Mouse.
I don't know if I knew that.
It's a guy named Iwerks. I think his last name's
Oh,
Iwerks.
Iworks. Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Right.
And before Mickey Mouse was Oswald the Lucky Rabbit.
Okay.
So interesting. And of course you get, all the I see. I wonder if these are all Disney archetype characters from the get go.
I'm not sure of the skeletons. I don't think the skeletons were Disney.
I'm trying to think what like. There's nothing recognizable because they're all public domain.
Right, right, right.
You see the guy with the rabbit ears in the front. He's just black from the back. That's actually I think Oswald,
Oh, I
the
see.
lucky rabbit.
Right, right, right. Well, even going back to this, like this is, of course, this is what everyone knows. I think this was actually like the Disney Animation Studio logo, the moving logo
It,
in the
it
last so
is
many
for the
movies.
for the new CG movies. They all the Frozen's and Tangled and stuff.
Okay. Um, but this is where I really want to say Dave Wacker's just like killing it, right? So you have he's doing cell animation style, right?
Right.
And then he goes into essentially almost
Like
Sleeping Beauty matte painting back style
right
to Fantasia.
to
Uh,
the magician's
yeah.
assistant. But when you go back a page, but what you notice is they have to change his face right away.
Hmm.
I mean, you
Yep.
change the whole costume, but they change the shape of the face right away just because that is not public domain.
Yeah, and
Fantasia is
they
not public domain.
right, and they make it like a mutant because this they make it like a mutation or over time in
Yeah,
later in the comic, you know. So creating the rift through, this was pretty fun. You got Gigantor right there, like just
right. You got a version of Felix. You got a blue
I
fairy
guess Tinkerbell
looking.
could be a Tinkerbell, you know.
Yeah, like a
Could
Tinkerbell,
be
blue
a
fairy.
Sugar
Could
Plum
be
Fairy.
or just a blue. I'm thinking the blue fairy, like a from Pinocchio
Oh, okay. Right,
or
right, right.
yeah, Pinocchio.
Right, right, right. And I feel like that's a Snow White bird at the bottom. But
Quite
just to
possibly.
kind of go against like the nature is like, I'm here. What am I doing here? This is
Yes.
this is a vast wasteland. This is kind of horrible.
See that top
Um,
panel? You should have got McFarlane to draw that.
yeah, that was an Easter egg for the first handful of Spider-Mans, I guess, right? He would
I think
draw Felix.
once he started it, it was like the thing for at least at least the Amazing Spider-Man run. I don't know if he drops it or not for Spider-Man.
I don't think it's in Spider-Man at all, but yeah, but you can see here, you're right, like it's a little vague in the third panel, right? Well, even in the second panel, a little different.
Yeah,
But that
it,
that fourth panel down is where it's going to mutate out. This
yeah.
is it. This is the villain, you know,
Mhm.
which I wouldn't have known, you know. This was very much like this reminded me, I guess, when they go in the Toontown in
Right.
Roger Rabbit, because I remember the son singing. I remember that, how
This
bouncy and everything
it's
was.
it's very heartfelt because this girl has trouble breathing in the real world. So discovering the cartoon world, she can breathe fine. She's
Breathes
healthy
fine.
here. Yeah.
Right. It's yeah, it's really it's nice. But what's cool is that, and I skipped a couple pages because he meets her, you know, younger,
Mhm.
and then they kind of develop later. Yeah, and this is I would thought I thought this was six. I guess I'm confused on what's going on here. I thought this was six and
I
ending,
thought
but
you had said it was six, and then we were hoping for another six. So I don't know.
yeah,
They're just continuing on from here, or maybe it was a 7 or 8 issue series. I
I
don't
think
know.
it's an eight. Yeah, because and I don't know if it's got a sequel. I know that that Wachter was on a podcast and he talked about, I think he was on David Harbour's podcast, and David Harper, not David
Not David
Harbour,
Harper. Of
not Hellboy. So I don't really know, but again, this is kind of my favorite go-to series where like this is a series I would give to someone in a trade. Here, look at this. You know what I mean? This is pretty open, especially if they have any type of peripheral cartoon love pre.
Yeah, if
Uh,
it's someone close to our age, because we're familiar with all the cartoons kind of referenced in this.
mhm.
We're the Roger Rabbit, generation. So we appreciate because we grew up, with all the cartoons on syndication, all the Looney Tunes and the Harvey cartoons,
Mhm.
the Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Like we watched all of them. Except I didn't watch a lot of Disney as a kid because I didn't have Disney. Like, where did you see Disney cartoons prior to the Disney Channel?
I think the Wonderful World of Disney on Sunday nights on ABC. That's where they
That's
would run. They would run blocks of either. Yeah, they would have some stuff, but
right. But like Bugs Bunny, we saw every day.
yeah,
Like Tom and Jerry, we saw every day. Heckle and Jekyll, and we could keep going.
I wonder if I still have it. I remember having, and this is where and I actually I think I did. I think I cribbed some of it and used it in like a term paper or some crap, right? In grade school. Uh, but there was like a Looney Tunes Happy Birthday Looney Tunes, like almost like a Life magazine, to which they actually have in the middle of it, they have like a cell. They have a Bugs Bunny cell,
Oh,
but
neat.
they have an article about cartoon physics. So that's why I thought, where cartoon physics is like, if you can walk on air as long as you don't recognize that if you don't look down and you don't think that you're not walking, like you can just walk right off a butte, like you can walk right off a cliff and you
Hmm.
can continue walking, but then the second you realize you are not, that then the gravity will actually come into play.
Oh, it's like when Jesus told Peter to walk on the water. Peter could as long as he looked at Jesus. But when he turned away, I see what you're doing there. Good job, Mark.
That's my Catholicism bleeding through. Good job, Father Mark. Uh, that's
Yeah,
correct.
cartoon.
Yeah,
I'm sure it was talking about like bullet holes and characters, and then you don't know your shot till you drink water and it comes out of the bullet holes,
it comes out
or
right. Or when you
or
paint, you can paint
a
an exit.
tunnel,
Yeah,
right?
you paint the tunnel, you're fine. Or if you take yeah, you could turn, because that's what they would do. They basically would, or if the tunnel, if you paint over the tunnel and then you pull up the lines and then turn that, then while they could, you can just smack into
And
the
and if you do smack too hard, you always could you accordioned, or if something
you're
fell on
cool.
you.
Right. What that what was it? Was it in Roger Rabbit where he couldn't do? They needed stars, so that was the beginning where like they go through the whole scene,
Oh yeah, they
and then he hits it. No, like, we want something else. It wasn't stars. So we want
yeah
whatever it was.
like birds tweeting.
Birds. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
birds, I think. And then he ripped the birds. Like, we need stars. You got to do stars. Let's do the take again. The take, but the take was like 6 minutes long.
You know, I
Uh,
was sad they only made what two follow-ups to the Roger Rabbit. They made two Roger Rabbit shorts
mhm.
post that movie. Um, I think one was in like a hospital. I forget the other one, but they were in
Yeah,
front of other movies. Like were they in front of like Honey I Shrunk the Kids? I think one of them was.
I think that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I want to say that there was a DVD or something that had them on it, or there might have been three. There might have been three.
I wanted them to
Um,
keep going. I know they made a Mickey Mouse one, Runaway Brain, and I think it's kind of dark in there. I think you can't really find it anywhere. They made a new Mickey Mouse short, and within the past like 30 years. I'll just say the 90s probably.
hmm,
Bugs Bunny had a new short
very.
too, set in a movie theater. I don't remember much about it. I just remember like their feet were getting stuck and all the garbage on the floor,
Oh, okay.
and then it's like making that, and they start like making like a dance out of it. That's all I
Jesus.
remember.
Hmm. I don't know.
Shorts,
Well,
dude,
that's.
cartoon shorts, bring them back. Well, I guess Joker kind of tried to.
Oh,
Yeah. Let
even
me
that
give the
wasn't
worst. Let
entertaining.
me let me give the worst example.
Here's the
It
worst
was
example of I would
was
have
it?
liked it if it was good, but it was
Yeah,
not.
it was not.
Very lazy.
It
Like
was
that whole
not.
movie. Like that whole movie was lazy. So that's it for all the comics reviews. I don't know if you have any. What you saw.
Okay.
You
Are
saw.
you craving some sort of movie review, Mark?
I'm craving the movie review. I did not see, and I would guess what? I was totally free,
Totally free.
completely free. And I was a mile away from you, 1.5 miles away, and I am not seeing that movie.
That's
So
fine.
I had to do a bunch of work. I had to do a bunch of this,
Yes.
set this up,
So,
you
so
know.
here's the deal. Sony has been making Marvel Spider-Man villain movies for a couple years now, and other than Venom 1 and 2, they've all bombed because people don't really want to see Spider-Man villains in a movie theater. Now, if you gave us a Spider-Man villain TV show, people might watch it. We watch Penguin, but
Mm,
also that happened to be a spectacular show.
right.
So I just feel like people like the movie itself. It's not the worst movie ever. I think Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like he
Kick
really wanted to
ass.
be Craven. He did a great job.
Mm,
He really tried hard. Perfect shape. Let me tell you, they didn't say it in front of me, but my daughters were joking with my daughters wanted to see it and they brought a friend along, and my friend's wife was there, and there's like all the scenes where he's at the end chilling in the chair with like the lion head,
mm.
just like chiseled, ridiculous, cum gutters, all that garbage. Like, and they're just like, yeah, can we say that? I don't know.
I don't know. I said that for a lot in this one, but not for
so,
kids.
so the point is, super attractive to the girls, which is just hilarious. But the girls kind of like it. They know it wasn't good,
Mm,
but it's still like good enough. But it's not good enough for comic fans. And they try to throw a couple Easter eggs at you. Like at one point, he's a prisoner, and he's prisoner 0864. And I turned to Brian. I said, Craven came out August of 1964, hence 864. He's like,
mm.
shut up. He's like, or no, I said it to Walt, not Brian. Um, but I was right. I looked it up afterwards, and Chameleon looks kind of cool when they show his face, although he's in it for like a second. I mean, the character's in it the whole movie. It's his brother, but he
Oh,
chameleons up at the end once. And they mention
It's a
Miles Warren.
chameleon's a Kravinoff in
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Oh, yeah. They do mention that
No,
he's a bastard half brother, but he's still being raised as a Kravinoff.
no,
And they mention I know, and they mention uh, Miles Warren. But apparently, he's the guy who makes the rhino, and he's the one who makes the chameleon. So he's just going to be their mad scientist that creates all these hybrid.
Dr.
And
Moreau.
well, that's not what he does. He creates clones. That's what
Right,
Miles Warren does. You
right, right,
know,
right.
so it's just they're trying to shoehorn everything in the way Amazing Spider-Man 2 tried to do, where
Hmm.
like, oh, they're all Oscorp things. Remember at the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2, you had like Doc Ock arms and Vulture wings, and I'm like, no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
Spider-Man's everything's different. That's what kind of makes each villain special. When you try to shoehorn everything into one thing, it doesn't work,
yeah.
in my
Sony
opinion.
never has a clue, I think, a lot
They
of the time.
No, they don't.
Well, they had what they you had uh Jin Urso, right? You had because you had what's her name? You had Felicity Jones was Black Cat,
Yeah,
basically.
was Felicia Hardy. Like
Right.
she right.
But she was a secretary. They're like, we need Felicia Harden. So what are we gonna do? I don't know. It's young it's it's
Right.
what's kid it's not Norman, it's Norman's kid.
It's
It's
Harry
Harry
Osborn's
Osborn's
secretary.
secretary for no reason, and then they cut a bunch of her scenes out that she said in an interview before
That
Rogue
movie is
One.
so cut, dude. Like there's a really good Norman scene. What does he say? I think Harry's like something says
Norman's
something like
dying. Yeah,
Norman's dying.
there's a cut scene, you can see it on YouTube. Yeah, of
Like,
him
but
dying.
he's like, what about my friend Peter? And he's like, not everybody gets a second chance or gets,
Yeah, it might have been in the
it
trailer. I want to say that the
it is
lines,
in the trailer,
yeah, the lines in the trailer. Again,
dude.
don't put Felicity Jones in the movie because if you do that, then half the movie is going to never be in whatever's in the trailer is not going to be in the movie. That's
Okay.
my Rogue One issue. And did she ever make any movies after that? I feel like that was it. You do Rogue One, she seemed to be like it was on the rise, and then they forgot to put her in anything.
I'm
So
sure she's in
overall,
stuff. You know what it is, Mark? She's just in stuff that's not uh, sci-fi or comic related. She's probably
yeah,
doing like real acting.
we don't watch any of that stuff. Um,
There's a script for Amazing Spider-Man 3 where they bring back Gwen Stacy as like a Carnage type creation, and
oh
like Norman
God,
Osborn's head is like alive, and they end up attaching it to like a giant Green Goblin Hulk-sized Ultimate. They're just trying to do Ultimate stuff in it, which is Gwen Stacy comes back probably as a clone Carnage, like Ultimate Spider-Man, and like I said, Green Goblin comes back as the big Hulk Green Goblin from Ultimate Spider-Man. I
yeah,
don't know.
Amazing Spider-Man 2 is too difficult because like I feel like that whoever did the sound effects, I could still hear like Gwen Stacy like hitting the ground.
Oh no, they did a good job.
They did a good job at it, but like I
Too
remember
good.
wanting to throw up. I remember like when that happened, I was like, I want to throw up. Like I just feel like this is just too much. Because part of me thought they're not going to do this. Part of me thought that they're going to chicken out on it. And you know what? That's probably would be okay. You know what I mean? Because I feel like you feel like Mary Jane's going to die in the first Spider-Man. You're like, oh, they're going to do this. They're going to do the bridge. Okay, I guess. And then it didn't happen. You're like, okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah, I would have been okay with her not dying,
Yes.
or I would have been okay with her in a wheelchair. I don't know.
Just
It's just
just have her
you,
go to London. Just then get rid of it. Then you could pull Mary Jane in.
but don't have her have sex with Norman Osborn
No.
and have two kids that are
Oh,
raised in France.
yeah, yeah. No, we're not doing that. Where was the Rhino? So they put the second trailer out, I think, for this, right? And they had a Rhino scene.
Yeah,
And then I heard that there were reshoots and they made that more of the movie. Is that a real thing in Craven?
originally I heard Rhino wasn't even going to be the villain at the end. Like he
Okay.
wasn't going to fully turn into the Rhino. And
Hmm.
then they, I guess, tested it and it went poorly. So they went back and filmed the fight scene. And guess what? The fight scene doesn't look bad. It looks pretty good for what this movie is. Still looks weird. We still want Rhino with like the square human
Hmm.
face, and a Rhino. Like we always like the big Rhino's a big suit. It's not mechanical. It's like some weird organic strengthening because Rhino can lift
Yeah.
40 tons according to the Marvel Universe.
Uh,
Random fact I can tell you.
Andy Cooper had my favorite Rhino. I think it was in Kazar.
Oh, that was really good.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Um, I like Larson's a lot. I like
Hmm.
McFarlane's a lot, but he gave him like shoulder pads. I love that McFarlane was like slightly altering. Like he made a cooler looking Scorpion. You know, I
Right, right,
really
right.
love McFarlane's Scorpion, and his Rhino was like okay looking, but like shoulder pads, they're just a staple of the '90s.
Hmm.
I guess women wore them in the '80s, superheroes wore them
Stories were
in
in
the
the
'90s.
90s. That's right. Yeah, because even like you think about like Darkhawk, right? He had like metal shoulder pads, so you
Yes.
still had it
Yeah. I had a joke.
all around.
I don't think I used it anywhere. It was like I think it was going to be like a young blood thing. And they're like, all right, who's going to volunteer for this team? And everyone goes to raise their hand, but nobody can because everyone on the
Right,
team has shoulder pads,
right.
including Bedrock.
Hmm.
I'm a guy made of stone, but give me some shoulder pads.
Give him some shoulder pads. Well, he's got to look cool sitting down. Sitting
It
down
looks
on the
it
plane.
looks cool.
It does. Yeah, I
Recycling, Callie,
can.
recycling.
Yeah, that's good.
Sorry, everyone. Just
So no worries. Well, we're wanting for our kids. I believe the children are our future and they need to recycle. So
they do need
good
to recycle.
message. That's a good message. So that's it for me. I don't want to talk about nothing that I really, well, I guess the only thing that I'll mention, and you've already seen it, but The Power of Grayskull is on YouTube for free. So that is a pretty extensive documentary of He-Man. Of hey,
Really
we want
good.
to make a Conan
It's
licensed show. Oh, Conan's rated R. Okay, all right. Well, we need to do this and change it, and Reagan, and
you know
make it a
what I
lesson, and
what I
Lou
like to tell
Scheimer.
people. What I like to tell people is you have that show, The Toys That Made Us.
Mhm.
It's always cooler to watch that show first, whether it's the GI Joe, the Turtles, the He Man, the Transformers episodes. But each one of those products does have its own 2 hour documentary, at
Right,
least.
at least.
So
Yeah.
it's fun to watch the He Man Toys That Made Us episode, and then you go and watch a 2 hour documentary, and it's just so much more the details, the drawings, the things they almost did, or why this $1 billion property failed them.
Right.
know,
It gets a little deeper because they go in with some of the mechanics and they talk to a lot of the concept designers and they were talking about like what was the spout guy?
Snout Spout.
Snout spout, right? And
It
was
was a
trying
dude
to
with like a
figure
big
out,
robot elephant head that squirted water.
yeah, but the guy who designed it had to like talk to this engineer. He's like, how do we do this? Like, how does this make sense? Um, in the same vein as Snout Spout, did you watch Saturday Night Live last night?
No,
Okay. There is, and I won't spoil the sketch, but I love, and you'll know what I'm talking about. I love sketches when they do any type of squirting blood or vomit, right?
yeah,
Do you remember they did a lot of vomit, I think, around the Phil Hartman style where they put basically a tube
yeah. It was
up
always the tube up the
and they go,
sleeve.
wah, and they just like vomit out of their hands, basically.
I think most famous was Will Ferrell vomiting when he found out Ellen DeGeneres was like a lesbian, and it's
Yeah,
like he's
right.
he's throwing up like it looks like cornflakes, and it's just so we
Yeah,
love it
really
because it's so
gross.
fake looking. And
Yeah,
he
I
does he
think
like eat
it's
a little bit of it at the end. He's like,
yeah, there's a lot like this season of SNL has been a little bit I feel like a lot of it's really like a little off kilter. Which I think is really good. I think so because Che and Jost are not the head writers anymore. I want to say I don't know if Mikey Day, whoever as Street, I forget. There's whoever writes a lot of stuff with Mikey Day. I believe he's the head writer. I could look that up,
interesting.
but no research. But
You
yeah,
know
they're
what it is?
not.
I
They're
wonder if
not head
Lawrence,
writers.
what if Lawrence be a little hands off in case he decides to hand the show off this year?
Yeah, maybe we'll hand it to Jost and Shay. I'm not sure.
I could.
You know.
I know what Tina Fey was mentioned at one point. So we don't know,
Yeah.
but it'll
We
be
don't
it'll
know.
be a weird future. We're
Yeah,
all looking
it was
forward.
Chris Rock. It was pretty good. Did you watch the Paul Mescal episode?
Yes, I watched all. Yeah,
That's
that was good.
excellent.
That was good.
And there's a cut for time one. Did you see that?
Nope,
There's
but
a it's
I'll go
it's
look it up.
it's an Irish bar, and he's the Irish bartender, and I think the sketch is called "What Americans Think Happens in an Irish Bar." Like, and so they go in, and they're like, "Oh," he's like, "Oh, what's your name?" He's like, "Oh, it's O'Brien." And they're like, "Oh, okay." And they're like, "I'm a quarter Irish," and the guy's like, "You're a quarter Irish? Oh my God, what's your surname?" And then they like, well, let's call them up and bring them down here, and it just becomes like this overt like and
That's
then,
funny.
oh, I'm a quarter Scottish, and then like a Scott the whatever the Trumpy guy, he comes in as a Scottish guy, and it's like, yeah, this is what American thinks if you go over to Ireland, like that's what's going to happen. They're going to roll out the red carpet for you.
That's
It's
funny.
not it's going to be a thing. I would like to
Or the
prefer to
green
think it
carpet.
the green carpet. I would prefer to think it's more of like the when the gang went to Ireland and Always Sunny,
Yeah,
where they try to like, and that they meet Charlie's dad, right? Or Charlie's,
right.
or
Who's
potentially Charlie's dad,
who plays O'Brien on a DS9?
right? That's Colm, very hard name to say, Colm Meaney. So
Remind
Uh,
me afterwards to talk to you about a DS9 episode involving him.
okay.
It's a
But
spoiler for
Mescal,
it's spoiler for a comic we already talked about.
yeah, did you see that they Mescal even goofs on himself with him being
Yes.
the
Oh,
sad independent,
that was really funny. The Gladiator musical was really funny.
the Gladiator musical. But I've told you to watch a couple Mescal movies, and those are the ones that are just where he plays a dad in one of them that's going to break, that's going to kill you. That's really hard. As like the
Mhm.
or normal people, very hard. All of Us Strangers might be my favorite movie last year. I think it came out last year, just by the time travel aspect of it. I think you would love that. I think that one's excellent, excellent, excellent. Yeah, so he's really good. I mean, he almost will make me see Gladiator 2. I'll see it when it comes out, and when it comes out on whatever streaming or whatever.
What what is that? Is that
What?
Universal? Who's Gladiator?
Uh, I think that sounds right. Yeah, you did not see Gladiator 2, right? Or you
Correct.
did see it?
I
Huh?
did not see the sequel.
Hmm. I don't know.
Hey, did you watch Creature Commandos this week?
Now,
Okay.
I gotta catch up with
It's
it.
good.
I did watch
It's a good
Shrinking,
episode.
but I had trouble. I'm having trouble with Shrinking because unfortunately I'm watching Ted Lasso at the same time. I shouldn't do that, but I'm rewatching my Ted Lasso
No,
the fourth time. Me and my
don't do
girlfriend were
that.
kind of going through. So episode to episode. Um, but they did some more stuff with Derek this week. They did more stuff with Ted McGinley, and
Yes.
he's never acted this well ever. And also, okay, and this is not spoiling because this is on Instagram. They had an Apple promo of this after it came out. I don't want to see Marshall and Robin get together. I'm not interested in this. So Cole, did you seen Drinking this week? Yeah.
Yeah, I
Am
watched
I telling
Shrinking
you
this
this?
week.
Okay. So he goes to buy a car, and the car he goes, and then Colby Smulders comes out, and her name's Sophie, and they're talking.
Hmm.
So Jimmy, which is Jason Segel's character, and they're talking, they're flirting,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and then she texts him at the end like, "Hey, how it is?" And he's smiling at the phone. I'm like, I don't know, I can't, because again, how many seasons was How I Met Your Mother? Eight, nine?
I didn't watch that show.
Oh, well, I guess you're fine. You didn't watch that show? That's
No,
surprising.
I watched a couple episodes. You know what I watched? I watched the episode where his dad dies, Dauber, and I'm
Yeah,
like, this is
yeah.
hard. And it was like only a couple years after my dad died, so I'm
Well,
oh, this
that's the
is.
episode you pick.
I know. I
Way to
watched
go.
3 episodes, and I think that was one of them.
You're like, I'm not watching this show again. No wonder you didn't watch that show.
Let me just
It's
sit down
it's
and watch.
okay on a rewatch. I don't think it's as funny as when it originally aired,
You
but the
know, I watched.
chemistry
You
is
know what it
pretty
is?
good.
I watched the first episode and I wasn't like bowled over, but like
The
sometimes that happens.
the first season's not spectacular. The first season literally has an episode where Marshall and Lily, which is Allison, I just like Allison Hannigan. I lost the last name. Willow, right? So Willow from Buffy, the redhead, and Marshall, Jason Segel, they're a couple, and they literally have where they're trying to get this potential rat or mouse out of their apartment, and
right.
half the episode literally is from the point of view of the mouse. I don't want to see this. It just was. It's so dumb. It's kind of like the first two seasons of Friends, where he had like a monkey for no reason, right? Like
Yeah.
it's got Marcel. Like so, you have like it feels very much like that. They're like, we don't know what we're doing with these characters yet. We'll figure it out. Let's break them up. You know what I mean? And then things happen. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so it's hard to watch this. I'm just like, because think about this: you're watching a show where Jason Segel's only ever been with this person, and that was the love of his life. That's it. He's only the entire show. Okay. For six, seven, 8 seasons, whatever it was.
You
And
know,
then you have a co-star in it. And I can't do it.
you're
It's
like one of those
too
people that
much.
like I can't watch the Mary Tyler Moore show because I feel like she divorced Dick Van Dyke.
That's right.
Like those are real people.
That's me. I'm the Gen X version of that because I'm
Yeah,
like,
you're a Gen X.
I will not accept Jason Segel and Colby Smulders together. I do not accept this. I'm not okay with this. Yeah,
That's
because
fine.
I don't know what I want for the end of the season. I did like the callback because I don't want Brett Goldstein to not be on the show. But I also, and again, that's the only part I liked about that one episode is everyone got off too easily, including the neighbor lady. Everyone got off way too easily, and then so this episode fixed some stuff because it felt very much like, and you can know what this is like. We're dads, and we think we get it right, and we do not get it right. And then we're like, and at the end, we're sitting in our bed going like, I thought I did everything I could do. So
Yeah,
like
right.
that, the end of this episode was exactly parenting. So I'm not sure. I don't think Brett Goldstein has kids, but I'm sure that some Bill Lawrence stuff is eking in there. That was a very I gave you all this stuff.
Yeah, I gave you a car.
Doesn't
I gave, you know what
matter.
I mean?
You'd made the mistake. You said something wrong. You did this wrong.
Yeah.
But how brutal is that character? Can I have like a sad Brett Goldstein character show?
I
Would
just
that
want
be
him back with his,
horrible?
I just want him back with his girlfriend.
No way. They won't do that.
Yeah, but
No
she
way.
didn't want to leave him. Oh, that was rough.
Yeah, he made her leave.
Yeah, he broke up with her so he could go to jail and be extra miserable because he didn't
He's
want to make her
punishing
wait a
himself.
year. Yeah, which I can see.
Yes. I don't
And you know
know.
what it is? It sucks, but it's a good story point that he wasn't even that drunk when he got in that accident.
Right,
You know?
right. It's tough that we saw the build up to him driving that episode. It's tough. It's a very I don't know if they started that from season one or not. If they decided they were going to do this in season two, but I don't really know how you can carry that character through. I thought we were done, and I think
Yeah,
it would have been a fine ending. But I also think that um, the woman therapist at the end, I don't think, and you have the best like Harrison Ford acting ever, right?
you do.
The
You
nuance
do.
is like so seeing him in a long form. This is where it pays off. This is where it's
Yeah.
paying off. You know.
Like I liked him in Yellowstone's 1923,
Mm.
but this is just I mean that's you can't really compare the shows.
How many episodes was that? How many hours
I
was
feel
that?
like 6 or 8,
Okay.
something like that.
Um, yeah, but we're still getting more from this in two seasons of 10, 11. I think it's 12. I think so. What,
I can't believe
24?
there's 12. You know, I was worried this episode 10 was the last one.
I thought it was right. I thought it
And
was
then
too.
the ending, I'm like, this doesn't feel like a season finale. And then I checked, I'm like, oh, there's next week's coming. All right, good.
No, I don't agree with the mother not moving in. I think that's a big mistake. I think that's her falling backwards into her
No,
selfish patterns.
I agree with
It's
you.
horrible.
I'm also dealing with that with my brother and my mom.
Right. So you literally have that, but that's like a toothpaste back in the bottle type of thing. She's not going to be able to pull that back, even when she almost considers it at the end.
Right, right.
But you got to do something with her, you know. Damon Wayans Jr. is still hanging out. He should be gone. I don't have the patience for that. He should be out. Be like, peace out, lady. I like you all, but you ain't coming around. You ain't making. She's getting smaller. She keeps going, messing it up. But that's cool though. I mean, again, this season became much more an ensemble.
We might
It pulled
see
away from Jimmy a lot.
if Jimmy and Robin get together, it won't last, but it might circle back to him getting with the other psychiatrist girl.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
I
I
just
can't think
totally
of her name either. Gabby.
Gabby.
Hmm.
So
Which,
because they seem like actually they could be a good couple. But you
yeah,
know what was great when he didn't catch feelings for her, and she's like, "You knew I was catching feelings," and he's like, "What?" Like I'm getting some.
right,
Like
right.
he went with the jerk move, and that's a really brave thing to do on a TV show. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
most
We've
guys
done
would
it.
be like, most guys would try to hide behind it, like, I was starting to feel something too, or
Right,
it's
right, right,
always some line like I was starting to, or I don't know,
right.
I'm confused. Ugh. There's no more
Yeah.
coward word than I'm confused.
No, yeah. It's not you, it's me playbook. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of stuff that you could do. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I think there's two episodes left, I guess, right? Yeah, so there's
Yeah.
11, 12.
11 and
11,
12.
12. So we'll see. I don't know when High Potential's coming back. I'm not sure if English Teacher. Those are like the three
Oh, High
shows.
Potential comes back January 7th.
Okay, good. Okay, good. I might watch, I mean, again, I think I told you Hulu has the whatever Swedish or French,
Oh, yeah.
whatever it's from, you can watch that there. And the first episode is verbatim, almost shot for shot.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting watching that.
Well, a lot of Jurgen, Spurgen, Jurby.
It's well, I just
Everyone's
watched
just a
the
Swedish chef to me. That's
yeah.
all.
I think that's correct.
I
That's
can't.
correct.
Yeah.
That's Andy Samberg's audition tape for SNL, by the way. If you ever saw that, it's like him doing the Swedish Chef in like his kitchen, and then
I've seen
that
him do the Swedish chef on a sketch one time.
it's what got him on the show.
Okay.
Yeah, basically.
But he didn't do that for years. Like he didn't use that Swedish chef impression. We all did a Swedish chef impression. Like that
Mhm.
was our favorite thing to do. At least it was mine from the Muppet Show.
Yeah.
He was the funniest character to me.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um,
I always
but
like
yeah,
Beaker,
so Saturday Night Live.
Dr.
You
Munson.
see, I guess Peacock's having the document like a 4-part documentary series, one of 3 or 4 different documentaries that's coming out this year. But Peacock has one. It's like 4 episodes long, and
Of
they
what
they, they
is
talk
it?
about
SNL
yeah of
or
SNL.
Oh, okay.
I think it goes through a lot of people's audition tapes and such. Some
Okay.
behind the scenes stuff. Should be good.
Uh,
Speaking of
one.
which, my
Okay.
computer's too old. My Safari is too old to watch Peacock on my computer. Like, like I had to go and download Google Chrome again.
Yeah, it's so funny the way that all of our machines just
They're
abort.
slowly,
They're just
yeah,
like, so, okay, well, we're done. I can't play this over here. I think my iPad has a program that it like deleted that like is no longer supported, and then the software developer doesn't make that anymore. And I'm like, well, I still like that for some of my art. I would do art finishing in that. No, it's not there. Um, all right, last this is kind of news, kind of reviews is that their Nate Bargatze has a Christmas special. It's going to be, I think, December 19th. And then on December, which is literally like people sketches, and it's produced by Lorne Michaels, and Streeter and Mikey Day are also writing for it. So
oh
it's
neat.
it's somewhat so that's really cool because again,
Is that
Streeter
on
and
Peacock?
Mikey Day, I believe so. I think it's gonna be on network, but I imagine it's gonna be on Peacock too. But no, it's on network. It's gonna be on like a Thursday or Friday night. It's an hour long special. I think he has some musical guests, but it is
I just
technically like a
just
Lorne
added it to my
Michaels above,
calendar.
right? But then Christmas Eve is Nate Bargatze has a new special coming on Netflix, which that'll be lined up because I'm watching Scrooge, my girlfriend, and then we can go right into that. Boom. So yeah, that's ready to go. So you got
Good.
two Nate Bargatze within like 5 days of one another. And Nate Bargatze was on the Rich Eisen show and was super loose, really funny, actually, really, really funny. That's on YouTube. He's a pretty good interviewer. He's a sportscaster interviewer, but he's getting a lot of other guests and stuff. That's not too bad of a show. Rick Eisen, me in sports, I love
Yep.
it.
Yes.
But that's
The
it.
sports balls.
We
All right.
did it. Let me jump off before Kathy kills me. So
Yep.
that's fine. Yeah,
It's
she's probably super
Tuesday
mad.
reviews day is over. Come back
Yes,
around later in the week for a special deep dive.
good one. Yeah,
It'll be a good one. And
yeah,
maybe I'll mention someone's name who I've already mentioned on the show before.
probably a lot.
Probably.
So we should get a counter. I'll get a counter. I'm definitely doing a counter on that one. I'm going to do a counter in the corner. I mean, well, I guess I can't because that doesn't. It's well, whatever. All right, but I'm going to hit the. What do I do? I'm going to hit the stop button.
You don't have to tell people.
Oh no, I'm telling him. Wait. Okay. Wait. Oh my God, that's bright. Oh boy. Okay.